Hello everybody. Hello everybody. We were a little bit late because we had some changes. Yes, but we are good. It's Sunday. I'm saying good afternoon, happy holidays to everybody. Hey, if you do want to hear U.D.P, technician, the headphone is gone for now. Don't worry about it. Yes, we are ready. We are here. We are home. I'm excited and hot. Are you guys ready? I am ready. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Al-nana. Yes, we have little changes. Can you guys hear me? If you guys can hear me, join me. We have a special guest. Yes, little bit changes. Yes. Wow, Mane, thank you. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? I do not want any audio issue because it's a special day today. First hand information, U.D.P. Congress, the past Congress, first hand, yes. Yellow in the house, yes. Yellow in the house, yes. Yame, yes, yellow in the house. Guess who we have today? Lawyer Yankuba Davo, yes. Alnana. I'm fired up. Yes, I am fired up. We can hear, you can hear me, yes. Kotoke Ture, thank you Bob Ture. Allah doko seneata Natalie. Yes. Nko nga special guest la soto. Alin nyo 40 ba? Alin da foto koto nyo 40. Nko nga lawyer Yankuba Davo le sambali na alfan ka fay yanks. Koto kele bijak. Ali la moy, Ali pare, al dulal click. Ali ñoo commandi telephone auto, ali ñoo text ala fo, we are on fire today. Yes. Nko, ali ñoo text ala fo butuo. You share. Hey, yes. Yes, we are good to go. Nko, we akai konyadi, we catch a big fish. Big fish. Yes. Binto Bantaba Network, I want everybody to be in. You are welcome. Our amazing guest will be here in a minute. He is here. I'm gonna put him up. Okay, he will be in a second. He's logged in, he's ready. Yes. Alibenyadi. Yes. Mahauja biwo mahauja leti tanyaro nyabare mahauja alingan don follow fonte antoli yalo manta congress dula alingan don jang. Oh, I'm so excited. Yes. We're gonna have a great conversation. Nko, what question will be? Mbebe le nyininkala. Alinga wake. Kuro esenea. Thank you. Mbina geso sambala nang. Hello, Kodoge? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I am here.
Ndola jandol kandon no follow fanga taras pis. Janimbe welcome la. You are welcome to Binto Bantaba Network.
Thank you so much for having me.
We call ourselves Grassroots, and we really mean it. We are the Badole, we are the London Tangol, we are all the whole It's like you are in the village right now talking to
Indeed.
us. So we are the villagers. We call ourselves the villagers online. So,
Indeed.
Kotoke, you are welcome to Binto Bantaba Network. Let me talk to them about Nko. Dr. Amadou Scattred Janneh wanted to be with us. I mean, he was ready. But guess what? You know, you plan, God does his will. So he have some engagement that he is engaged with right now. But guess what? He sent us the big bird. Yes, we are home. Hey, Nko, I miss someone often yala samatofa la fonte. We apologize for the inconvenience. Ning I momo fenka. Nalbe Facebook right now, alim follow ali like. Because nga faliele, nalma like, ite belo jela, to know that we are live. We can have little delays, just like we did, but hey, it's Sunday. Once it's Sunday, we cannot miss it. And I'll attend to we're here. I'm saying a Merry Christmas to my Christian brothers and sisters, the entire family. Happy New Year coming to everybody here. It's holiday. When you are traveling, be careful. Do not help people with their bags. Do not. That's not your responsibility. Do not touch your bags. Just do what you gotta do to get home safe. That's all. All right? Love y'all. Mwah. All right. If you're on YouTube, text me. Let me know. All right. Mr. Dabo.
Yes, my
You
sister.
are welcome to our home, Binto Bantaba Network. I am Binta, but Binto Jataba.
Indeed. Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you.
As you rightly said, doctor was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, he's a bit tied up, and then had to request for me to fill in for him. And I am glad and grateful to be on the platform, and hopefully look forward to a fruitful and interesting conversation.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate you. We are saying congratulations to the entire U.D.P party. We are saying special congratulations to Executive General,
Executive members, yeah,
the executive members of your council, and our special, congratulations goes to Honorable
yes,
Hussein Udavo.
indeed.
Yes. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, since we just have you in?
Okay, I am Yankuba Dabo, commonly known as Yanks Dabo. I'm a lawyer by profession and a political activist and human rights activist, and been in the Gambian political activism for a while now, I guess, and also a strong supporter and member of the United Democratic Party of the Gambia, and now an executive member and deputy administrative secretary for media and communication of the party. So I'm glad to be on the platform today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You are the Deputy Administrative Secretary for Media and Communication.
Yeah.
Doctor is the senior. So we say senior, Doman in Kotolam. So,
Indeed.
we really want you to walk us through the Congress that just passed.
Yes. So we had our biannual Congress, and it started, I believe, on the 18th and concluded with a mega rally on the 20th. So we had the Congress on the 18th, 19th, and 20th of December at Penchami Hall in the Gambia here, which was well attended by our delegates from all the constituencies and all the constituencies in the country. I believe we are probably one of the parties that is able to have such attendance in the country at present because of our wide support and membership across the country. So the delegates came. So each constituency, they would select their own delegates who they sent to represent the constituency at the Congress. And these are the delegates that normally select candidates or votes for candidates at the Congress. So it's also a requirement of the IEC laws that political parties have to hold Congress. They have to fill in new executive members every 2 years. And it is in fulfillment of that requirement that we had to hold that event. The event went successful. It was successful and it went peaceful. But overall, I would say it has revived or re-energized the party. And it also, the best way I would describe is to say that it has reinstilled that hope in the delegates and indeed the party supporters. The optimism that we all have that we are indeed going to be the party that any party who wants to win the next election have to beat. I believe that is our party, and our party, the grassroots and all our supporters have been energized. And I have not had or have not come across that many criticisms of the way the whole Congress had been organized or it had been done. So I believe that it went through the way it's supposed to be and to the expectation of many as well. Or I would say we have superseded even the expectation of our ardent critics. So that is kudos to everyone who was part of the organization of the event. They've all done well, and the leadership of the party as well, who had embraced whatever changes or whatever new innovations that were instilled in it. That was indeed really good because it helped in embracing change. We have also seen the social media sort of coverage of it, and the sort of modern in decorations and other things that they've done to the event was quite amazing indeed to a lot of people.
It was
so
beautiful.
Yes, it was really beautiful. It was,
Right.
And if you're on the ground, you really love it. The way the whole thing, the event was organized was wonderful.
I'm sorry
We
to
didn't
say,
have
but
that much.
I was asking myself, is that really Gambia?
I know. We've taken the Gambian politics to another level, I would say.
Right. Go ahead.
Indeed. So, but that is how the party is. We are a big party, and we want to showcase it to the world, the level of our political maturity in the Gambia, and that of our political awareness as well, to let them know that Gambia, despite the fact that we had retrogressed under Jammeh for 22 years, we have been able to excel within these 4 years of earning a bit of democracy in adapting to changes and in getting us to somewhere where we can say, if you look at our Congress and look at any other big major political parties Congress anywhere else, you would not be disappointed in the way ours was conducted.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this sensitive one. We have Muslims, Christian. We had U.D.P. Use the Hamadiyya to lead the prayer. What happened?
Okay, that one I will explain a bit. I think there was a bit of a mistake.
Right.
That was seized upon by some people who did not understand what happened. So there was an oversight. What happened is there was supposed to be a Muslim imam who should have been called first.
Okay.
To lead the prayers in the Sunni Islam, following the Sunni Islam tradition.
Right.
Now that imam, I believe, was late, and then the second person or the second religious leader that was supposed to be called was the Ahmadiyya leader, who was also present with us to grace the occasion, and therefore we cannot just ignore their presence. So they were called. So instead of them being called second, they were instead called first. And then Christian, one of the Christian leaders who were there, was also called to lead us in prayers in the Christian faith. So they were supposed to go back and call the Muslim Sunni Muslim leader or our traditional Muslim leaders, but the masters of ceremony, the MC, forgotten that, and then went straight on to the next item on the itinerary, and forgotten that we actually did not call the Muslim imam to lead to be the first person to lead the prayer.
Right.
So before we realized that, it was something that was just making, I think people were reacting to it because they did not understand. And then we were like, okay, that had to be corrected. So on the second session, we had to get the imam to come and lead us. And I believe thereafter, that mistake had been corrected and it hadn't been repeated.
Okay. Some
But
people
that
are
was a,
still upset about it.
that was a mistake, and we want to apologize to everyone who is upset about that. It shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened. We are in a country where 99 point something percent of the population subscribe to the Sunni Islam, and they deserve, and it is indeed right that they are supposed to be the first to whose prayers ought to be observed, and then every other religious faith should also be given that opportunity. But for them not to be given that opportunity at the outset was mistake, and we apologize for that. Yes.
Yes. Okay. How do you guys? What are the requirements for one to occupy a position in in the national executive? What are the requirements?
So the requirements are very simple.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay.
I'm
Can you
hearing
guys
you good.
Facebook? Can you guys YouTube? Can you guys hear us well? If you guys can hear us clearly, just message me. We cannot lose this opportunity. Okay.
No.
Yes.
So
What are the requirements?
the requirements are very simple. You need at least 2 delegates to nominate you, one to nominate and the other one to support that nomination or to second it.
Okay.
And then you are nominated. If another person is nominated for the same position, then obviously, then you have what they have. This year they introduces what they call a mediation stage as the first stage to mediate to see who can who is willing to give up the position for the order. If both are not willing to give up and want to contest it, then it goes to an open contest in which the delegates are the eligible people who will vote and decide who should fill in that position. So that is simply the criteria. If you are interested in a position, you only have to make your interest known to at least 2 delegates in the hall. And then when the nomination reaches that position, the particular delegate you spoke to will just take the mic and then say, I want to nominate so and so for that particular position. That is how it is done. So if you're in the hall and you believe that you are known in the party and that you will be voted in by the delegates of the party, then there is no other requirement that you need other than to speak to the delegates. Just like in any political setting, you just go and canvass the votes that you can get. Speak to the delegates because they're the ones who are eligible to vote. And then tell them that I want to be in this position, or this is the position I'm coveting, and I want you to vote or nominate me for this. You go for another one. If you cannot get 1 or 2 delegates to support your interest, then obviously it's very difficult for you to be able to get that position.
Okay, we're gonna give you an example of just one example out of a whole lot. I know U.D.P most qualified ones are many.
Yeah.
We're gonna ask you about Mohamed Sabally for not getting the executive position. I heard him saying that he did not join the U.D.P because of position, but he's a great asset to U.D.P.
He is. Okay. And I believe he, Sabali is still part of the fundraising team. And I think either he is heading there, but he's a senior member of the fundraising team. And that is a very important committee of the party. But like I said, the process of getting to the national executive, you have to speak to at least 2 delegates. Sabali, obviously, I believe if he had any interest in it, he would have been able to get 2 or 3 votes. Sabali is well known in the party and is well loved as well. Right. He has a lot of, despite the fact that you can say that he joined NASN recently or not long in the party, but he's been able, through his own efforts and hard work, he's been able to build a foundation within the party and a recognition and a base of his own there. And I think that is kudos to his own effort in the party. And anybody in the party appreciates that. And we are all rooting for him. I believe even if he had spoken to me, I would have been able to nominate him for whatever position he wants. But it is his preference. And that obviously in a democratic setting, you can't impose positions on people. They have to make that choice. It's a choice for everyone.
Yes.
So he made the choice that he doesn't want to go for anything. And then he did not lobby for anything as well, because he was in the hall, and he has every right to lobby for anything he wants to. But I think he's content with the role he's playing at the moment, and I believe that that is an important role on its own at present. I think people will say there are so many, there are so many people who are not in the national executive, but who are doing lot more work than many who are in the national executive. You mentioned our chapter heads across the diaspora. They might not be in the national executive, but these are very, very important and senior and very important positions that they're holding for the party. And I believe everyone recognizes that. So there are so many other people who are doing far, far great who are not in the executive. And yes.
Thank you. Before I ask you who Honorable Dabo is, let me play my favorite part of the Congress from First Lady Aji Maindur Dabo.
Dabo, yes.
Yes. I want the Gambians to hear that part. You guys listen.
All U.D.P executive
Can you hear?
Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. It is a great honor to stand in front of you today to introduce to you A.N.M. Usainu Dabo, husband to me, Maimuna Ndur Dabo, and to Salimata Ufe Dabo. I have been married to him for 45 years, and I want to share with you today a side of my husband that is not widely known. Usainu is a loving biological father of 6 children. Ya Dabo, Ya Adam Dabo, Numukunda Dabo, also known as Papa D, Penda Ndugusin Dabo, Nafisatu Dabo, and Mayori Dabo. It is hard to differentiate between his biological children and his many adopted kids. His children are in the hundreds and span across continents, as he is a father figure to many family and non-family members. Usainu's father, Numukunda Dabo, died early, right after Usainu graduated from law school, leaving young children behind. After his father's demise, Usainu ensured his younger siblings attained education and were taken care of. All his siblings are productive members of society today, with the youngest, Numukunda Dabo Jr., being both a medical doctor and a PhD holder. To graduate and live in Banjul, he was the host to many from the area while they attended high school. Usainu always made sure that any family or non-family member that got sick in Dobo and Bansang was brought to Banjul and treated until they got well. All expenses paid by him. I remember the time when we had a young family. He brought relatives who had contagious diseases like TB and leprosy, exposing all of us. But that's how selfless Usainu is. Usainu is a person who values people and nurtures relationships. He still has the same secretary, Ajaratu Fatni Andrame, drivers Ibrahim Solo Standing, and Shirifo Marong, and our house help, Omar Baji. members are no longer workers, but are now family, as they have been working with the family for over 30 years. Usainu is a person who does not burn bridges along the way, he builds them. This virtue of nurturing relationship is further manifested to UDP members.
So, Mr. Dabo.
Yes.
That's my favorite part of the Congress. I'm sorry, I'm biased, but
Indeed.
she spoke well of her husband.
Indeed.
Yes. Can you tell us, Honorable Dabo, you know? That's your flag bearer too. Yeah.
Indeed. He's a mentor. He's one of the reasons why I became a lawyer. So that tells you how he's able to inspire many people. I remember when I went to university, I was supposed to be doing media and IT, because because I did 3 A levels. That is law, media and IT. And the way the UK system works, you apply to universities through UCAS. So I went to the university. When I went to university, my first choice university, I opted for, I believe that was for IT and media. The second one, I thought it was for IT and law. Yes, it was IT and law. So I went to the IT school, that is the faculty for IT, and they told me that I was being registered at the law school, that I had to go to the law school, because at that point I wanted to change from law to IT and media, because now I'm at my second option, second university. So I wanted to change I wanted to change the law to go for IT and media combined, because I had a bit of media experience in the Gambia before I went to UK. I was working with the Observer. So I went to the law school in order to remove my name from the law school and then go to the IT school so I can register for IT and media. Then I was told then when I got there, I was literally part of the students that they called the confused ones, because we were the ones that didn't know what career path we wanted to take. And then I remember, so they said we had to see one of the tutors who was going to talk to us about the career path, career guidance, something, counselor or something of that sort. Yes, he started explaining, and then she said, if you studied law as your main degree, you could qualify and become a lawyer. And then the next thing I was thinking, Lawyer Dabo. Yes, that sound interesting. Why don't I just stay at the law?
Sounds similar to his.
Yeah, so I went in order to take my name from the law school. I ended up going back to the IT school and saying, look, I'm taking my name from the IT faculty. I'm just going to be a lawyer now, just like Lawyer Dabo. So that's how much he inspired. That's my own personal inspiration that I have drawn from him. And I believe others can relate to other things that he has done. And in the political field, we know even the current president went around the whole country in 2016. And what he was telling the Gambians was that this man, he even said, you can say that you have not or you've never seen a lion, but that you've never heard of a lion is hardly heard of. So he said, Hussein Dabo, you might not have seen him, but you probably might have heard of him because he's a lion. That's the comparison he made at that time. And he went around telling people, just like Ajam Maindur stated there, that Lawyer Dabo has biological children and many other children. And Barrow one time described himself as one of those children. So what Lawyer Dabo did with his party, remember, the United Democratic Party was not formed or founded by Lawyer Dabo.
Okay.
It was founded by a group of Gambians out of concern for their nation at the time. They saw the Gambia at a very difficult position at the time because We had young military men who had seized power and had no sense of direction as to where they're taking our country to. They decided that we need, as more or less elder councillors of this country, we need to come together and form a party and identify someone who is going to be able to take this party along the path that we believe is the right path for this nation. And they have done their own sort of searching of the right person for that position. And they came to the consensus that Lawyer Dabo at the time was the best candidate who could lead such a party. That party became the United Democratic Party. And those people will tell you that that party was never a party until when they had a head of it, a head for it. And that head became Lawyer Senou Dabo. They will also tell you this. They will also attest to this fact that they went to other people. In fact, at the time, it was very scary for anyone to openly challenge the military as they were searching, as they were hoping at the time.
Right.
Because they wanted a leader who was going to openly challenge Jammeh for his most coveted seat, and that is the seat of presidency. And Jammeh with the military and everything. So Dabo, because of the interests of the country, didn't look at the risks that he was about to face, or the challenges that he was going to have to overcome. Decided that it is best for him to accept that honor and accept the leadership of the United Democratic Party and lead this country. So that in itself defines who Lawyer Dabo is. And for him, it is about the Gambia and the trust that the people had in him in 2016, because the founding fathers of the party at the time believed that this country has to be on the right path. At any point that this country is on that right path, and Dabo is able to either take it on that path or able to help someone to get it on that path, as long as it is on that path, that I believe will be the end of Dabo. That will be the fulfillment of his of that honor and privilege given to him. If he believes that that is not what the country is on, then you certainly will see him fighting. Even if it means you sending him to prison or bringing him back, he will still fight for that Gambia, because it was a honor, it's still a honor, and it is a honor that he wants to be able to live up to the expectation of those and many that still continues to believe in him.
I'm going to bring you back to that portion, but let me add this question to it. Okay. After many controversy about Dabo's eligibility to become a candidate, and U.D.P still went ahead and made him the candidate to come in 2021. Did U.D.P make
a grave mistake?
No. Did U.D.P investigated or checked the controversies? People are saying he's not eligible to be a candidate. Did U.D.P check?
We have checked it. We have gone through every single letter written in every word in that constitution, in every passage, every phrase, every sentence of that constitution of the Gambia, every clause of it, every provision of it, and there is nothing in it that goes on to support the position being postulated by many of those people who said he is ineligible. We, as far as we are concerned, the law in the current constitution, the 1997 constitution, does not affect him at all, does not affect his eligibility to stand at the next election. And if he appears as the winner of the or the choice of the Gambian people. There is nothing in that constitution that prohibits him from taking the mantle of leadership and leading this country as the fourth president of the Republic of the Gambia.
Wonderful, good clarification. Let me take you back. You said he would have fight to either be a candidate or support somebody, a good candidate. Let me ask you that. Some Gambians say, well, he should have supported Barrow, since Barrow was from U.D.P. before he became independent. That was the agreement. Would he have supported Barrow?
He supported Barrow before.
Okay.
And I believe if Barrow was still part of the U.D.P. at the Congress in 2020, and Barrow wanted to contest against him, he would have put his name against Barrow. If the delegates voted for Barrow, he would be supporting Barrow as we speak today. You understand? The only reason why that hasn't happened is because President Barrow wants to bribe his way to presidency again. And that is not how democracy works. You have to be held accountable by the people. If you want to be a candidate in a democratic settings like the U.D.P., you have to put your name, you have to contest. If you succeed, you are supported by the majority of the party and become their candidate or flag bearer at the next election. What Barrow wanted was Dabo should be suppressed, Dabo should be stopped, and he should be automatically elected. The way they put it is that in the United States, if you are a incumbent of a ruling party of the Republican Party or Democratic Party, this is the Alcali Conte theory, is that you automatically get nominated by that party. You don't get contest. You don't go through a contest. But this is not the United States. This is not Democratic Party of the United States or the Republican Party of the United States. We have a different system. Our system is that, as I said, any position of the executive will be open to contest because the people who are holding those positions to Congress usually have to return the positions back to the party and then vie for them or contest for them if they want to return back to those positions. That is how our system works. If Barrow wanted to be supported by Dabo at this Congress, he should have remained in the party. He should have put his name forward as Dabo did, as every other person did, and be voted in, and Dabo would have supported him. But the way he wanted to do it, it's not the way it is done. And our party has rules, and those rules have to be followed. Otherwise, if we start flaunting the rules, then we're setting a bad precedent. Then it means we might end up being dictated by one individual, like how other parties are being dictated. That is not how our party is dictated. And then our party, we have a democracy in it. We don't get dictated. So Dabo would have supported Barrow if Barrow was in the U.D.P. And also, if Barrow has proven himself to be a leader capable of leading the Gambia. That is also something very important. We don't just have to support somebody because he is just the leader by chance. No, you got to continue. Leadership is about vetting process. We have to continue to vet them, to hold them accountable, to see how they are performing and whether they indeed have the capacity to lead the nation moving forward. And we feel like there are many challenges, and I don't think Barrow seems clued because he is showing many signs of cluelessness, but it doesn't seem clued on what he is supposed to do to move this country forward.
So this year, did anybody wrote their name against Honorable Dabo?
Did anyone do that?
Yes. Did anyone?
No, what happened is Dabo's position was contested.
Okay.
It wasn't contested, but it was open for contest. It was opened for contest, just like many of the positions. But there was no other delegate there who was interested in that position. Let's put it that way. There
Okay.
was no delegate there. There was nobody there that I am aware of who was interested in the position.
Do you think people were afraid?
No, nobody. You see, we don't have a dictator in the UDP.
Okay.
We are not scared of Lawyer Dabo.
Uh-huh.
And there has never been a time when Lawyer Dabo showed us a face that which we should be scared of. I don't know, but those who've known Lawyer Dabo, look at his face. He doesn't have a face that scare anybody. He doesn't scare people. He is not a scarecrow. He doesn't scare people. So we are not scared of him, and he doesn't intimidate anybody. That is not even his nature. He's very humble.
Okay.
And he's full of humility. So people are not scared. Nobody is scared in UDP to vie for any position. And in fact, I believe if anybody had gone for that, Dabo would encourage it because he's a Democrat. He would love it to come there. He would even joke with you and said, "I will beat you," and then you'll be like, "I'll beat you." Let's see. I'll beat you. I'll campaign against you and beat you. I think he will joke about that. But there's nothing like we are scared. No.
Okay.
Maybe you could say people out of respect. Maybe you can say that, but not scared. No, I don't think they're scared. But I think the great majority of UDP supporters, you see, it's only people who are outside of the party who tend to sit outside and want to dictate how the party should be led.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, you should remove Dabo and put so and so there, but they're not even within the party. How do we know you cannot go to a contest in a battle and then you are a general in an opposing army and you're telling us how to position our forces. We can't accept that.
But
But
Yankuba, Dabo, let's say Dabo said, okay, I'm gonna step down and I'm just gonna use you as an example. Since you are here with me, I'm gonna step down and give it to lawyer Yankuba Dabo. Do you think UDP would have break into pieces?
No, they wouldn't, but they will not accept that because that is dictatorship. They will tell him point blank that lawyer Dabo, we don't.
Okay, let me reframe it. Let's say he said, I do not want to contest. I will let other people to contest. Let's say you came up, your name, my name, and let's say Dr. Janneh. Let's say 3 people came up.
Will UDP split?
Would UDP split?
No, it won't. UDP will never split as long as Lawyer Dabo is alive. That one I can assure you of that. Yeah, he will do everything to unite the party. He's the unifying figure in the party. And the UDP, everybody, if we were going to split, I think we would have done that when he was in prison. That was the most difficult, that was the litmus test for the party, I believe. It was the most difficult period in the party's history. But we were able to unite. We were able to come together under the leadership of Ajia Mundau Sek. She was able to sail us through that very difficult, very difficult period. And for us to pass through that, these are peace times. That time you would say we were at war and we were not winning. We were on the losing side because we had almost the whole of our executive were behind bars and we couldn't do anything. Men were not even seen. It was the women who had to wrap their wrappers and then be on the streets with the Kalama Revolution thing.
And Fitarang.
And Fitarang and the broom. But that was the grit our people had sown. But even then, we were not broken into pieces. We remained united. We remained steadfast. We remained determined. We had our members, one of our executive members, an indomitable figure like Solo Sandem was killed at the time. Solo Kroma, who came to protest against it, was also killed. We had Dabo and the whole executive in prison. That was very difficult time for us. But we still remain united, despite the difficulties, the challenges we were being subjected to. It didn't break us down. It kept us going. So for people to think that just Dabo not being the party leader at the Congress whilst Dabo is alive, and then we are in peacetime, that we are going to break away. I think that would mean that we are very selfish. We are only interested in positions and not the party. Because if we are interested in the party's survival must matter much to us than just individual who leads. Because any potential leader in that party can certainly lead if the party survives.
Okay.
But if we break away, nobody wins. We all lose. It's simple as that. So if the party survives, because obviously the way our constitutional dynamics are, whoever is the president would only serve 2 terms or so. And then if you remain in the party, you would lead after one president is gone, then you have the opportunity. It's always there. The opportunity is always there. I don't know why people are so greedy about it and so much in a haste. Because
people think that UDP, most people are there because of position.
I don't think so. I think because if we want to go like that, anybody who comes in, that's why it's good that Sabali also did what he did, because otherwise they will say, look at it, he came for position. But now that he has not even got position, they're making a big noise about that as well. That is also something else. But that is critics for you. It's hard to satisfy critics. They always have something to criticize indeed.
I was watching the Congress, and somebody said, I asked a question during the live. Somebody said there are 11 more positions left, and those positions, the Honorable Dabo would nominate other people to those positions. What are those positions? Those 11. I think it used to be 9 before 11. I don't know.
It is 7.
Okay.
We just added another 4 to it.
Okay.
Because what happened is the 7 members are already there. They're already nominated.
Okay.
So 7 is already nominated. They are already part of the executive. So we need some more people to come into the executive.
Right.
So they believe that the party leader that discretion should be a bit widened or increased a bit to enable him to get at least co-opt another 4 people into the executive. Obviously, our diaspora needs to have a seat in the executive, and they are not part of the 7. So the 7 that we have at the moment, we have a lot of women there because they needed to create that one in order to have a balance. We also want to have tribal diversity in the executive, so that other tribes whose members who are strong supporters of the party but have not been able to make it through the normal election to the executive can also be co-opted through the nomination of the party leader. So these are things that are considered by the party executive, and they said we need to expand it a little bit so that it can be 11, because if you want to include all the tribes of the Gambia, you would finish the 11 before you even realize it. And then you also have religion, and we need to make that reflection of the party. If you want to govern a country that is of the multifaceted diversity that we have, you also have to have your executive reflect of that. And that is something which we have to try our level best. If we cannot achieve it through the normal electoral route, then we have a nominated route that which people can also be able to get to the party executive and be able to play their part and be able to contribute. And that contribution is important, because until we know we have a Manjago in the seat, we might not know the challenges that the Manjagos are facing. Until we have a Mandingo in the seat, we might not know the challenges Mandingos are facing. You cannot run into a government and then not knowing the problems of all the people, because the country has a lot of problems, but the problems are also very different. And these problems can be related to certain things that relates to our ethnic compositions, our religious faiths, and other things. It's important to be reflective of the society you lead or you want to lead.
Give us some few things on your UDP policies.
So we have, I think the party leader made 7 7 policy pledges, and that include, I believe, I will just go through some of them. So the first is we want to increase investment in agriculture,
Okay.
nutrition, and food security.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to revamp the sector, and then to make sure that we spend 10% of our national budget in agriculture in order to meet the Maputo Declaration of 2003, which is signed by many African nations. I think the current budget, the percentage dedicated for agriculture is roughly
Too small.
it's
4
too small.
million.
4 million. It's less than 2% or 1% something. So we want to increase that. And when we increase that, this will obviously, it will increase the output that we're going to get from the farm production in the country. And farming will become a bit of a noble profession for the peasant Gambians, because that is something which had been taken away from them for the past 22 years of the Jammeh administration, and had gone worse under the Barrow administration now. And as we speak now, this is the period of the shekels. This is when the farmers tend to sell their groundnuts and then make money. But you see, it's because of the lack of revenue farmers have been getting from farming, which had discouraged many people from farming in the country. And that has, in fact, worsened the poverty of many people. It compounded their financial situations here. Because at least if they engage in farming and able to sell something in December, they tend to have some money to be able to pay for their children's school fees and other things. But you've seen people at the Gambia College who are struggling to pay school fees. You know that things are hard, or times are hard, when students are being sent off school because of school fees. Because then that tells you that parents are really, really struggling to make ends meet. Because whenever they struggle to make ends meet, one of the things they always sacrifice at the outset or much quicker is that of school fees, or that of their
Before you
children's
go to number
education.
two, I want to hear your opinion about Barrow. They took the farmers their tractors and give them donkeys. I want to hear your opinion on that.
So that tells you President Barrow's priorities. Because you see, these tractors are donated to this country by Japan, I believe. But Barrow and administrations do not know how to manage them, and how to effectively manage them to benefit the many farmers that need these agricultural tools and equipment. Now, what should have happened is these tractors should have never been taken away from these farmers. And then this country, the big thing we should have been doing is that these tractors should have all gone to Jahal Pachab, where we should have at least been recruiting at least maybe 20,000 youths, even on a voluntary basis, but to make sure that we are able to irrigate and engage in irrigation of that area. Because when you pass Mansakonko or Soma, going all the way to Basse, that part of the River Gambia is non-saline water. There is no reason why we shouldn't be irrigating that part of the water and be producing, be engaging 24/7 agriculture to ensure food sustenance, self-food sustenance in this country. But that is not happening at the moment because our governments do not know their priorities. At the moment, we continue to import rice from other countries that we should be exporting rice to. And that is the saddest thing that is happening. We are getting these farm tractors and other farm equipments that are being given to us for us to put them into good use. Instead, what is happening is that our governments Jammeh was having loads of them. Only God knows what happened to all those tractors.
Yes.
But they've never been put to good use. Barrow is now taking them. If you if one cares to look into it thoroughly, you might even find that Barrow might be even engaged in selling some of them, and then embezzling the money, as he is doing with many other funds like the COVID funds, which he diverted and wasted it all on pickups. So many of them, about 60 pickups he bought for MPP. Now those pickups are only being used to go touring in the country, to tour the country. And after the tours, what happened to them? Because these pickups have to be fuel on a daily basis. What an amount of money being wasted on fuel for the MPP chairman and chairwoman and whatever to go around doing some nonsense errands with those vehicles. But the concept, the mindset they have is to win the Gambian people's votes, is to prove to them that you are rich, you have a new car, you are this and that, and then they will vote for you. But I tell you what, they are underestimating the intellect and the awareness of the Gambian people and their political awareness. And they will prove to them in 2021 that we certainly do not want a president who takes us for granted.
I'm going to take you another route again, horticulture. We had a sow here, and a member of U.D.P called and told us that garden, the Kanilai Women's Garden was just, I think it was seized from them, or they just ignored, they took the light, they cut the light, and the women cannot do their gardening there anymore. What will U.D.P government do when they come back, when they come to power?
Which one is that?
The Kanilai garden. The women cannot do gardening anymore.
And that is a waste, and it's terrible for the economy of the country and that of the women in that area. You see, a U.D.P government would not want such an important farm or an important institute to go to waste simply because Janneh is not there, or Janneh is gone, or that is the Janneh's bad place. No, because if we are able to revitalize or revamp that farming, and able to at least provide income for the people or the women folk of that area, then we certainly going to be contributing to the economy of the country, which helps everybody. It helps the government in generating revenue. It helps other people to be able to get garden vegetables. And that is very important to all of us. So the U.D.P certainly, with 10% increase in the investment in agriculture, would certainly benefit those women and gardens like those ones to come back to life again and be able to provide that income, that desperate income that people in that area need, and the women in that area need. The women in that area do not need to suffer or be punished because of what Yahya Jammeh did to others. No, it is wrong. And as I said, we have a government that has no clue. They are clueless and do not know what they're doing. All they keep thinking about is how we are going to remain in this state house for another 15 years, how we are going to enjoy eating the foods that we keep eating, the privileges we enjoy, and nothing more. They don't see beyond the horizon of, or the plight of the people or the women that you're talking about in Kanilai. But that is not how a U.D.P government will view such.
Thank you. You can go to your next point.
So the next point,
your next point.
So the next point is that of the investment in the youths.
Okay.
So we talked about the youths because one of the challenges the youths have in this country, and that which is more or less, it's discouraging many from becoming entrepreneurs or becoming a bit entrepreneurial. It's because of the lack of funding. So even if you have this great idea of whatever you want to do in your area, in order to create a business for you and for your friends or your family, the first thing that will put you off of that dream is that of source of funding. Where you're going to get that income from, where you're going to get that funding from to be able to start that business. So the U.D.P said they're going to try and create, as part of youth employment and empowerment scheme, they're going to create a youth entrepreneurship fund. So that would, the government would certainly create funds, would create this fund scheme in which youths can be able to apply and be able to get loans to start a business, and that business help them. Because when you tell people about loans in this country, they keep saying go to the banks. The banks don't give no loan in this country. It's very difficult. Exactly. The banks don't give loans. They give loans to big corporations who would default in paying, and then the poor people whose monies are there, they would struggle to get their monies from the bank. The corporations don't normally get affected as the poor people. So you have to create, one of the reasons why farmers are struggling. If you go to other countries, much developed countries, farmers get subsidies. That means they get money before the rainy season or before they start their farming. And they, out of that money, they are able to farm whatever they want to farm. And then they enter into some sort of a promise with the government that this is the amount that you should yield, that your harvest should yield. And they will ensure that they contribute immensely towards the food production or food sustenance of that country. In this country, farmers don't get anything. They go to the farm empty-handed with the hope that they might be able to get something at the end of it. So along the way, it's fraught with challenges. Those challenges they are never able to overcome. They don't get fertilizers. Whatever the seeds that they bought in order to plant will all get messed up, will just be spoiled and destroyed, and they never get the harvest they want. Or because of lack of fertilizer, they will end up incurring losses. And this is a huge challenge for farmers in this country. And when you talk of farmers, you're literally talking about almost half of our population engaged in that profession in this country. This is a huge challenge. So the youths face the same thing. So with such a funding, we are going to be able to, especially we have a lot of youths coming from the university with so many ideas in their head, but because there is nowhere to turn to, lack of opportunity means that they only end up being entrepreneurs at the Hataya Vus. They sit there and talk about all these great ideas they have, but that's it. It just becomes a banter that which they will enter into argument with their friends, but unable to be able to implement it anywhere. So we want to break that barrier for them. We want to break that barrier for them, and then make sure that that funding is available to them, and they are able to fulfill that dream of theirs.
Let me insert this part too. Maybe you can write it down if you U.D.P having a meeting, if y'all know about it or not, because we do open line here a lot. This young man called from Germany. He said in the Gambia, the Gambia government should provide certification for apprentice. Let's say you are doing the carpentry portion of it, or welding, or whatever you are training from your boss. You should have a certification, just like in Europe. Will U.D.P. And he also said is they don't have protection. Usually they work in a hazardous area, and they will need protection. What would U.D.P do for those youths that are doing those apprentice?
So that is very, very good. I think at the moment, I think already the government has this sort of vocational standard, skill standard, more or less curriculum that is being offered by GTTI, where people go through and then they get certification for the different levels that they have in different fields. I think one of the things that we can do, and this is a good suggestion that you've just made, you've just inserted there.
Not everybody went to English school to go and join the GTTI.
Yeah, indeed. Yes. Indeed. So what should happen is, and because the GTTI already, they have a better understanding in terms of skills, assessing skills. What should happen is they should be able to have this open sort of examination in which people can apply and then be able to come and be assessed on their skills. or that the GTTI can be able to go to different what's it called, shops, training shops,
Right.
and be able to assess this particular individual in terms of their skills for carpentry or welding or other thing. And
Mechanic.
if yeah, and if they believe that they meet certain skill sets, then they can award them that certificate. Obviously, they might need to pay for that assessment and other things. But I think if that opportunity is given, it would help in identifying the skills of those people to potential employers and then to consumers and other people, because they can also be able to hang their certificates at their shops so that people can know what level of skills skill qualification they have. That would help as well. These are all things that definitely we can. I think is a good suggestion, which one can run with GTTI, and I think that would fall nicely in the third pledge of the UDP commitment, the commitment pledge of the.
Write it down. That's from Binto
Yes.
Bantova.
And that is the investment in education.
Yes.
Because we obviously want to invest in education and and skills development. We talked about they talk about increasing funding in education, increased funding in education, and the development of the curriculum. So they were they were talking about also bringing parity between the English and the madrasas, because madrasas are also another challenge we have. And they want to bring parity so that madrasas can also be able to have opportunity in the job market. Because one of the things you find that is quite discriminatory against those that study Arabic in this country is that people will normally leave school here and go to other countries like China or Venezuela, where the degrees the degrees they study are taught in those languages. They are not in English. They are not taught in English, but they are taught in Venezuelan, or they are taught in Spanish in Venezuela, or Chinese in Taiwan or China. They have to learn Chinese and then be able to do their degree in Chinese. But when they come back into the Gambia, they can get job anywhere in the government. But those that done similar studies in the Arabian countries, despite their qualification, when they come back, they're only limited to jobs like being imams or qadis or ustaz or teachers in the schools. This is something that which we also have to look into.
I stand to be corrected. Why can we have they are not qualified to be members of parliament? Why that? Am I correct or wrong?
Which they should be.
Yes.
They are qualified. They are qualified. I think it's because they have this. I think it's you have to have a secondary school or senior secondary school education for certain of these professions. But we have to look into that, because it shouldn't be just about secondary school English, but can also include Arabic school, because they're able to read and write. It's only that they write in another language, which is Arabic, and we write in English. But these are all languages that are written and spoken. So we need to be able to create opportunity and create parity between the different educations that exist in the country. And that also applies to what you said, the vocational studies as well. It should apply to that as well. So by extension, I think the suggestion or the contribution of your that person or your contributor is really, really good. And that is something which we will look into indeed.
Early child education. It's not a big deal back home, but it's very important. Early child education.
It is. That is very important.
Yes.
In fact, what is happening is, because you would realize that in many of the rural places, they used to depend on CCF, which is Child Fund. Now, CCF used to run the early child education, and many of the CCF nursery schools have closed. And most of the nursery schools, I believe, are run by private persons or private businesses, and that is something which the government needs to. But the UDP wants to increase investment in education.
Yes.
You know, they want to dedicate 12.7 to 25% of the national budget towards education. So that I believe will increase, and it will help in overcoming many of the challenges that we have in education.
Right.
And the next one is healthcare.
Yes.
So UDP wants to invest a lot in the healthcare, especially in they want to invest a lot in maternal healthcare to reduce neonatal and child morbidity and mortality. Yeah. So childhood morbidity and mortality is a big issue at the moment. We have a lot of women losing their lives at labor. That is unacceptable in the 21st century. And certainly it would be a priority concern for the UDP government. That is something we have to straight away deal. We have to tackle head on and make sure we overcome or we come to grapple it and be able to control it, because that is 21st century is unacceptable.
Mr. Dabo, let me say something. This one you will say, well, I have never been part of any conversation that sounds like this one. Okay. This one, there's something in the Gambia women are using, it's called taba. We're not going to talk about taba. The only thing is, I asked some doctors, they say the taba is affecting women. Pregnant, labor and delivery, back pain. They use it for different purposes. They use it as epidural. They use it for back pain. They use it for their periodic pain. They use it for different, but it's affecting them. I mean, death and serious health issues. Do you think the Gambia government should make an investigation about this and condemn this immediately? You might not know much about it, but I just want to bring it to your notice.
From what you said, I definitely think they should, but I don't think they need to do investigation alone. I think the main reason why women are forced into using certain things is because they lack access to modern medication for such. Okay. So for women to depend on such for as a painkiller is because they probably cannot afford ibuprofen or other modern medications for such. And that is because medication is very expensive in this country and it is not available at the hospitals. So what a UDP government will do is to make sure we have medication available to people at the hospitals. That ought to happen. If Jawara can do that in the 80s when the country's economy is so weak and so small, now we have a big economy where we are making billions in taxation. How come we are unable to do that? It's something else that we have to look into. But medication is something which the government needs to deal with. They need to grapple, because if you are not, if someone is in pain and has no money to buy any modern medication, he or she certainly would resort back to those traditional medications, regardless of the dangers that they pose. It's because the person doesn't have that much choice. He's in pain. He's in pain, you see. If the person is in pain, anything that can help them, that's what they will go for. And we have to also deal with the dilapidation of our hospitals. They are in terrible situation. They have to be rehabilitated. They require much investment. I don't think a UDP government will be more interested in buying pickups, so many of them, when we have our hospitals at the state that they are in at the moment. That is not what a responsible government behaves, and that's not how we're going to behave. And we're certainly going to do everything we can to make sure that we overcome such challenges that which many women are going through at the moment. And the women are going through a lot. For them to be still resorting to such traditional medicine, it tells you that either they are unable to afford modern medication or that they are unaware of it, because the modern medication is much safer and it is much better and less riskier than the ones that they are resorting to. So we also, as part of that, so that we also want to invest in energy. We want to move away from the fossil fuel generators that we depend on at now, to invest more in solar energy, to be able to fill the black hole in our energies, in our energy sector. And we also want to go to the ICT, because one of the things that are bankrupting Gambians at the moment, or impoverishing them, is that of the huge amount of money they spend on data for for internet data, and that of telephone calls. It's seriously, it's unacceptable the amount of money people pay in this country for internet. Even rich countries, even rich countries, I can tell you in the UK, we pay for broadband faster, far faster and bigger than the one that we have here, for say £30. But the 5 Mbps internet data here is costing about 4,000, almost £80 sterling. So for somebody in the Gambia to be able to have internet, just internet, is so expensive for them. You put $100 megabytes or data in your phone, just make 1, 2, 3 calls and it's gone. It's just gone like that. That is, how can the country, these people be able to?
No, when I came to Gambia, my brother put $500 on there. I didn't even know that my apps on the phone was cause I didn't even. From that time, I put my phone on the side. I said, anybody wanna call me? Call me on my brother's phone. I could not handle that. I am so yes.
Exactly. So that is something which we definitely, is our commitment to deal with that, to help people to save money. Because in order for Gambians to be able to enjoy it, in order for them to be able to have to improve their livelihood, we have to be able to enable them to have some money they're able to take home and save, and be able to use it on anything, on luxurious things. They just cannot have salary and the whole salary is just spent on necessities alone. They should be able to have some leftover that they can even say, I want to go on holiday to somewhere else. And to do that, we have to cut down their costs, transport, electricity, water, and data. Seriously, the government needs to clamp down on this, because many of these companies, they are filthy rich out of the poor Gambians. They are making money like no other. They're making billions on a daily basis, whilst the average Gambian who depends on those things are not getting anything at all. You see, and that is unacceptable. We have to do something about that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So the other one is tourism. We want to go into tourism, invest in tourism, and the last one is that of environment.
No, hold on. Don't pass the tourism portion.
Yes.
Our baby girls that go on that tourism site.
Yes. That is the sexual exploitation.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that is the sex tourism. The sex tourism that we have in the country. You see, all of that stems from this issue of poverty. When people are poor, they're driven into all kind of immoralities just to survive. And that is something that is sad. A responsible government needs to empower its people, because tourism is happening in every part of the world. If the people are empowered, nobody is able to exploit them. But if people are weak and poor, they are susceptible and vulnerable and malleable to such exploitation of anybody. And that is something which UDP government will do all it can to ensure that our people are empowered, that visitors come to visit this country, enjoy the beauty, the fauna and flora of the nation, enjoy our hospitality, but they don't abuse our hospitality and they don't exploit our people. And that would also include increased policing, and then we have to also see how best we can regulate this sector, because it's also important to do that.
Awareness for parents will be also important.
Indeed. Very, very important.
Awareness.
Very important. But empowering the parents will be a lot more important, because, and the girl child, everyone should be empowered. It's all about people having some income. You see, if a parent has money, his daughter wouldn't be going to look for money in the streets. No. He'll be able to give his daughter something. But if the parent is broke at the end of every effort that is done in a month, in order to be able to get money to sustain the family and be able to have something to give to his children, but unable to even or struggle to sustain that of the family's needs, then he would struggle to give anything if there is no leftover. And one of the big problem is that of these internet people. They're taking that money, that little leftover of these parents from them. Because can you imagine, they have to make calls. That is the generation we live in. They have to call people. And they cannot call without the cost, incurring cost. But if the cost becomes so overburdensome, then it is a big problem for them. And that is something which the government has to step in and help them.
Yeah. That's great.
So the last but not the least will be that of investment in science and environment and our resource management. So these include our fisheries. We have the Chinese trawlers is becoming a big issue now. They're taking all the fish in the sea and all of those things. And now people are saying we don't even have fish in the country, or fish has become so expensive because the fishermen are complaining that they cannot get anything in the seas because the trawlers are taking all the fish that they can be able to catch. So we need to do something to be able to manage that properly so that we don't end up depleting that resource or our fishes in the sea, but we are able to manage it to a way that we will be able to create employment. We will be able to achieve stock recovery and a balanced marine life of our natural resources. So this is a commitment too that the UDP is making. So these are 7 commitments made, but these are just snapshots. The details would come into the manifesto in terms of how we want to create jobs and many other things. But each one of these are job creating policies. Each one is supposed to create jobs.
Write this one down too. Yeah. I'm giving you a lot of assignment today.
Okay. Okay.
Late 80s to early 90s, Combo East, Binto, Pirang, Binto,
that's my area.
Faraba. Yes, I was Scan Gambia. What is it?
Yes. In Pirang, in fact, Scan Gambia in Pirang.
Yes. Binto, Faraba, and all these people. Scan Gambia created development for us, employment.
We have a lot of streams from there, indeed.
Yes. Write that down. UDP government will come and knock at the door.
No, indeed. I think Scan is already on our plate at the moment. We already have.
We need it.
Scan Gambia, indeed, in Pirang. That one is definitely.
We need it. I remember my stepmom was not working there, but she will make her chagri and go sell it there, and she will make huge amount of money. Other women will make pancake, they will make breakfast, they will make dinner, they will make a whole lot of things. So women were even empowered there just for selling their stuff, and some of them work there, So we just lost that Scan Gambia. Somebody
we need to do something to revitalize that one and then revamp it, bring it back to life. It's important.
Yes, they should do a good survey and check it out if it's good for us. Yeah. So let me, Binto Bantaba community, we're having a great conversation. Hey, yellow in the house. Guess who we have here? Lawyer Yankuba Dabo. Yes, we have Lawyer Yankuba Dabo. We are having a great conversation. Topics that you were not expecting to hear. It's not just UDP, it's everything about the Gambia. So please share this information. We have the opportunity with him. It's very important. Share. Okay, we did the English part of it. I will tell my guests we can go to the local part of it. So, Alkana Pisal. Na aka ndola community university to Pisal lalle bijam. Mr. Dabo. Mr. Dabo, we are honored to have you. We are honored to have you. We're having a very educative conversation today. Okay, so
Thank you so much. Can you give me 1 minute? Let me check
Go ahead and get you a drink because we will not let you go for a second. Go ahead. Okay, Nabe, we're having a great conversation. The things I may not be able to know all of it. I know some are asking if I can open the line. I'm not sure, but we'll ask our guests if we can just take 3 calls. But please share the conversation. Send us a text. Respectful, please. Respectful. We haven't paid these people to come here and get insulted. Okay, so you guys be respectful. UDP, if you guys come to government, I will ask all the questions I can, especially our Scan Gambia. All right, especially our Scan Gambia. Okay, so Yankuba is here to have a great discussion with us. I appreciate everybody. Your time is very important to us. It's very important to me and my team. So yes, we have a whole lot to discuss and we are running out of time. We might not be able to talk about all those land issues because we already have other conversation with other people. You can check out our other videos, okay? So, but the recent issues right now, we went through over UDP's policies. He spoke about agriculture, is very important. He spoke about education, very important. Our telecommunication, very important. He just spoke about our science. So there's so many things. We might not be able to discuss it all, but I have a few more questions. It's not about us pulling each other, or you did wrong, or you did this, or you did that, or you are against this, Dabo, you are against us. No. We have to talk about real issues now. It's January here. 2021 is right here. So we have to know the policies, what the party have for us. You know, that's what we are here for. Okay, so we appreciate everybody. Our guest is back. Yes, yellow in the house, yellow in the house, yellow in the house. Yes, our brother is back. We are having a great discussion. Please share. Okay, we are human beings. Mr. Dabo is doing his best too. Okay? But you guys know he got the knowledge for it. So he have the knowledge. Mr. Dabo.
Yes.
I'm gonna maybe we can try to mix the English and the local. Okay? If that will be okay with you. And our viewers are saying they need at least 3 phone calls if you don't mind.
I have no problem.
Okay, they would like to chip in. Okay, if IEC, let's go to the elections now.
Yeah.
IEC. If IEC happen to say, let's say they come up with the idea that we should be using the ballot paper, what will be the stand of UDP? If they want to provide to come up with the ballot paper.
The ballot papers.
Yes, what will be the UDP stand on the ballot paper for 2021?
No, I don't think we will support ballot paper voting for 2021. I think it would be a bit premature for that at the moment.
Okay.
Because they need to do a lot of sensitization. And then not only sensitization, but I think the people need to go through the ballot paper voting, controversial elections, or less contentious ones, because I think presidential elections tend to be very contentious for one to try an untested or untested process. If anything happens, it will create a chaos. I don't think it will be a good idea. But that is something which they cannot be able to enforce at the moment. They have to go through legislative changes that would require parliamentary backing. So I think at that point they will have to explain. You see, as a party, the UDP understands the challenges of the IEC. Our system, where every party has their own ballot box, is something that is cumbersome. It's difficult to run if you have so many political parties. And then we have too many political parties being registered. So you have almost 16 political parties. If all of them are to contest in a presidential election, you're talking about 16 ballot boxes in every polling station. That means we have over 400 polling stations, or almost 600 polling stations. That multiplied by 16, you're talking about thousands of ballot boxes being transported from one area to another area. And that is logistically, that is a huge challenge for the IEC, especially if that numbers of political parties keep increasing. So we understand that. That is a challenge. But what we are saying is you've got to be able to balance that challenge with the consequences that might happen if you get a presidential elections like the 2021 coming wrong. You could end up causing a civil war in this country. That I think is a huge stake than the logistical challenges we're talking about. So I think the consequences of having a terrible election is far outweighs or worse than a scenario you would have or challenges you would have in dealing with the logistics of transporting 4,000 or 6,000 ballot boxes across the country. So I think they need to consider that very carefully. And I think the best thing they need to do is maybe introduce the ballot boxes at the local government elections, which should happen in 2022 or 23.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we started at that point. If we don't have problem, then we introduce it to the next National Assembly one. After that, we then introduce it to presidential. By then, the people would have grown accustomed to it a bit. But if you want to introduce it at the next most contentious one, as the one that is coming in 2021, and then anything that happens, nobody will accept the results. It would get us into the chaos that we never wanted.
What
And
about
that
spot counting? Should we maintain that?
spot counting has to be maintained. That should never be taken away. That one is the best. We can never accept what used to happen, that is transporting them from polling station to counting centers, because Janneh had taught us a bitter lesson in that. That is where they switch the ballot boxes and they substitute them with their pre-filled one, and then what people voted for is never reflected in what is counted at the counting centers. We can't accept those once again. What should happen now is that we should maintain the spot counting where people voted, let it be counted in their presence, and they know how much is voted for each of the parties there. That is crucial.
Okay. Sometime this week, Honorable Fabakar Tombonjata said, I'm going to quote, but we can say that in Mandinka if you want. He said, if we are not careful, we may probably fight a guerrilla war to regain our sovereignty from Senegal. What do you say to that?
I think it's a very big statement. It's a profound statement. I don't know what evidence he has that is what we are heading into. But certainly, a lot of Gambians are a bit apprehensive about the role Senegalese economic forces are playing in the country. Yes, we welcome the Senegalese forces. We are grateful to the contributions they made in achieving the democratic gains that we have made, or in achieving the peaceful or the order that we had, and in removing Janneh. But they have to accept that this is a sovereign country, and that our security forces should always take precedent over them. Unfortunately, President Barrow had given President Barrow is given a different perception to the Gambians, to a point that the APRC and probably Fabakary and many of his supporters believe in that opinion, or believe in that conviction that Gambia is being sucked into Senegal or being absorbed into Senegal by Macky Sall because of the influence Macky Sall has over Barrow. And then if your own country's security officers are not able to guard, or are not able to be too close to your own president, and the president is guarded by a foreign soldiers and everything, sometimes it can make people a bit apprehensive about whether they are not actually being taken over by that other country. But I don't think we will go into a guerrilla war. I think Fabakary is a bit exaggerating that. I don't think we will go to a guerrilla war to regain our sovereignty. I doubt very much Senegal will be able to usurp Gambia's sovereignty from the Gambia, because we are already a nation of our own, an independent state that has been recognized by the UN and all international organizations. But it is something that is worth, it's a concern that is worth raising to the Senegalese authorities, that they have to respect the sovereignty of the Gambia. And they cannot allow President Barrow to give that impression to the world that this government depends on Senegal for security. Because we know that our brothers and sisters in the security forces are doing a great job and continues to do that, and that they are indeed the people who are providing security to average Gambians. The Senegalese are indeed providing security to the president, but that is the president from his own fears of his own Gambian security forces. I think he has done a bad job in building bridges with them, and he needs to do a lot more, because the Senegalese would have to go at some point. They cannot be retained in this country forever. Suddenly, a UDP government will depend on the Gambian security forces for our security.
So they said there's hard spot in Buyam, that when our people come down with their timber, these people will collect it from them. But
yes,
that's in the Gambia.
That's where they are exceeding their mandate. They are not supposed to be taking timbers or doing police work. They are a peace enforcement military contingent that came to the country on.
Mr. Dawo, they are not economic. These are Senegalese soldiers in Fonyi.
Yes.
Collecting this, they are not. I don't think they are part of the economic.
No, the mandate they are operating under is still part of this economic mandate.
Oh.
So that's what gave them the authority to build a base there. In fact, if you're approaching that checkpoint, you will see the signs will tell you that this is economic. They will tell you it's ECOWAS forces or economic forces. That's what they put there. They don't put Senegalese forces there. But I think it all depends. It's because they have been doing it, and then the authorities here have just been paying oblivion to it, and they don't want to talk about it. I think they should talk about it, because it's a concern. It's affecting a lot of Gambians. Even if that timber is coming from Senegal, I don't think it is the job of the Senegalese forces to intercept them. They should raise that concern through their government, and their government raised the concern to us. Because as far as we're concerned, they are supposed to be under our authority and command. But you cannot be in one country where you are under the direct command of the president of that country, and you are also taking command from somewhere different, and you are doing different things. That I think is not right and shouldn't be that way.
Was it necessary to have former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, in the country to negotiate?
Not at all. It was just waste. It was just wasting taxpayers' money. I don't know how much they're paying him, but whatever they're paying him, it's just.
Are we paying him for that?
I believe they have to pay him, because I cannot believe that Goodluck Jonathan would volunteer, pay for his own private jet to come to the Gambia. to mediate between Gambians for free like that. I don't think he's that generous.
Do UDP want us to revive it? Do UDP would like us to revive the draft constitution?
We have no problem with it being revived in its state, in the state that it was brought to Parliament by the Constitutional Review Commission. There is no problem. UDP has no objection to it. We supported it. But even if a dot is omitted on it, then we have no business with it. We are not going to support it, and we will not support it, and we will tell every one of our supporters not to support it, because we believe in the final product that was given to us by the Constitutional Review Commission, because we believe that reflects the wishes and aspirations of the Gambian people, given to them, given to that body. And that's what they brought to Parliament. Parliamentarians should have simply voted for that to go to the public, for the public to have a say on it. They decided, out of their own selfish interest, in the protection of whatever interest of the president, decided that they do not want that to get to the people, and therefore they were going to block it, and they did. So Now that the president's own supporters in parliament blocked it, he should have simply
I'm
asked them.
sorry. That's why I smile because that's why I smile because they are they are Barrow supporters that blocked the draft constitution to call somebody else in the country to come and mediate.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, between who and who?
Exactly. Between him and his MPs. That's what should happen. It should be between Barrow and his MPs, because certainly something is not right in between those two, because Barrow could not be so much proud of this legacy of having been the president who overseeing the drafting of this new constitution. This was what this whole project Barrow was about. The draft constitution, the TRRC, the what is the other one? The Janneh Commission,
Janneh
and
Commission.
getting us back onto the right democratic footing. But if Barrow and his own people are just basically it's opposing everything that they are supposed to be supporting, then I don't know who are they expecting to support what they are bringing.
Some are saying that, well, I think the president wants it back now, but he don't know how to, just to bring it back like that will not, because they say there's this portion of it, simple majority. Some people are saying maybe he's scared of it.
They are really scared of the simple majority in the current constitution, whereas the other one has absolute majority. But you see, both do not favor them. You see, they are in between a hard place and a rock. The current one, simple majority, doesn't favor them as they think it does. It doesn't, because they might be surprised, because I believe if we go into elections in December as they are scheduled, I believe that the U.D.P are going to win with not just simple majority, but they might even win beyond 50%. And that the numbers are there, and we have the numbers, and I believe we also have the political energy, and the political zeal is also there, and I believe the atmosphere for change is also there, because Barrow literally hasn't done much that he can bank on to convince Gambians to give him another chance. If anything, it's all failed promises that he had made at the last election, and this is a referendum on him. So I doubt very much Barrow is going to be able to convince many Gambians. So the opposition has much to criticize than Barrow has to rely on for support.
Right.
And this is a big challenge for him. So for Barrow to say that simple majority favors them, I don't think it makes much sense. But let them try.
They might be afraid of it.
So they want the absolute majority where they can rely on, they can form alliance. But we can also form alliance at that point. But this is the deal. The fear is they
can lose easily. That's what people are trying to assume. That's what the president is thinking. He can lose easily with simple majority. So second round will favor him better.
But we have these things. He needs to learn from Guinea-Bissau. They did not even the incumbent in that country couldn't even make it to the second round. Yes. So, and Gambia is having similar. If you look at the projections, you would think that we are trekking on the same path as Guinea-Bissau, because the people in this country are going through difficult times at the moment. And I only believe that will only exacerbate. It will only get compounded, because obviously Barrow's government, and if you look at their budget, they have not made any accommodation for helping people out of poverty. There is nothing there that you can say is allocated to help people in for this and that. And people definitely going to need support, because COVID-19 globally, all governments are doing everything to support their citizens. Senegal helped their citizens by paying their electricity and other things. We haven't had such here. We've only had half a bag of rice being shared in between so many people here, and the next thing that was consumed in a matter of weeks, and people have nothing thereafter. All that people have seen is that their COVID money has been wasted into new pickups. Barrow's party is having pickups every day, and the people do not have people still struggling to meet their basic needs, and that is a challenge for them.
Yeah, but we are saying too, UDP might not be able to win either if only they have to go for a coalition.
No, we don't need a coalition. We can win without a coalition. You know,
sure.
Of course, we have been winning these elections. Janneh has been stealing them for so many times. 96, we won him.
But
2000
took some people from UDP too.
Barrow took only 8 people, about 10 or 9 people. and some of them, don't worry, you will see a lot of them coming back by around June, July, August.
Oh, they're gonna be mad at us. Viewers gonna be mad at why y'all laughing.
Now, many of them will come back. You know why? Because I believe once the UDP manifesto comes out, and once we engage the people in real politics, the people will understand what we are offering, and that the alternative that Barrow has is just not, and it's not even open to contest. So I believe we have a lot to convince the Gambians across all the boundaries, across the religion, tribe, and everything. We can be able to convince the people that we indeed offer the best. We have the best alternative, and that this government do not represent their best interests and that of the interests of their children. And I believe we can make that argument, and we have a lot to say in that. And certainly we'll be able to convince Gambians to vote for you.
We have to put some smile on this politics. This is going to be really rough. We have to put some smile on it too. Okay, before I open the line for a few questions, this is very important. I want to play the video, but let me give you a hint about it. Barrow said on his rally, meet the people's store. Before you comment on it, I would like you to watch the video first. Barrow said, if he didn't win the 2016 election, most people would have been buried by now. But I want to play the video, and you hear what he said.
Malla filam fanyita ndilaje barka bi worno sino to ala natan tombo en londi kar sabo kono ngaya jambe boy nyimban ko kanja andun kabra boyta bi modol be wuri kam bi billahi wallahi nim president Barrow man gagnenu abata langa mo jama baade nyimban ko kanja abata langa mo jama baade nyimban ko kanja Barrow mo la nata wuli kana kele ba wuli ndin kam kan kenye kon demu e jawole ndemanke mo la jawti do godo wala naadi do godo andu wala kala fana o don belam la jara so man ko anin elaran ko mo meliano ki siso konkon ka fo yamu elarar leti lafta hukumo e bang elarar kono bari mboyta o je kanne 2021 lafta president ke NPP député le ke NPP mayor le ke NPP chairman le ke NPP et la council le ke NPP e sa jam parata do ko kila jar sa ki jam mbe do ko men ke.
Okay, Mr. Dabo. Okay, 5 minutes for Kasilamba. For Kasilam, Farman Tonya. What do you think about that statement?
No, Yalong, near President Barrow, Tubabol coming for, he seemed deluded because Kakumon Minubefo, Wolundeng Kumatimi Alonko, at Alafa Mim for a Wallam Yunduko, follow ako alale ate tombo. Yalom benga long alaman jinan kana duma kana ka Barrow bulom taka samba ka president. So molle a tombong. Wo molle fana e carte o fire. Wollem sababot fo ise wol tentu ye jay. Andunga kamimfo mo jama be beri la. Because one na tekela wala ya na o manke. nindara womol be beri la ten no hanna darata winda wol be beri la yajale so these are improbabilities are coming for they would never happen mim man tin man nakela wonna tekela andung atala effort maya jamme bondi jang
Okay.
it is the effort of the collective Gambians wole ya jamme bondi the great majority of Gambians minunata da tola minio carte of fire minio la kodol ki so many of them in the diaspora many along go sleepless nights imansino be wurla radio to Mamadou Kurbali ñolu fenk ñol tukulol si ñolu Gambia démocratie fon ñol be wurla mol kan lungol wol baf la mol al kodo bonde bankola kodo delta ra tisad wa fo la blal beleto all because lafta kodo ina pour baro win so inito ko ya jamme ni wo win dan wo be mobe fala ya jamme to mobe fa no la it's not true he's not going to be able to do it now okay it would have been genocide it's not going to happen saka min fo mole wondan toñade yeah andum ate gagneta le ya modul fast still
Okay.
you understand so
Okay.
kumo nying aka fo nyaming he's using it pour ka political scoring game wala ñindiko molbe fala le ni ya jame momi manya na fala wota fala hanna ya windam bele betara balurin still because
Well,
manya
ayo kuma wuli dabo la kam.
ayalon baro kuoku imaja kamin fa ko monu wultale ya dekele be alon ndol ma dekele atele kelo boy ndol kan cause e kamin fo wolam ñindigo we abandon baro but just look at it this way the UDP as a party is still there intact Barrow was part of the party Barrow left the party and formed another party who left who because the UDP did not leave Barrow because we were never part of Barrow it was Barrow that was part of the UDP
Kotoke mbat.
is what I mean.
Caller, hold on. Bare Gambian ol ntolaka fole o wato de biring honorable Dabo be Masakunda and in the orders. Tanate there was no problem. UDP they stand for Barrow. Ilota Barrow yele ye Barrow support le ka fo fang honorable Dabo fang ka fo ko Jannin Sunkaro UDP Masakunda le betarra lorinja. Mine dunte tema.
No yalo niya korosi from the outset ntolle nga carte o fire ya gagnet so yalo momi carte fire ni way supporting government wanyande support la
Okay.
nim problem o keta fo bote ko de tele nyande fanyene ngala because what we have done for Barrow will never do that for us until we spend our money on Barrow has never spent a dime on any of us yeah but we did so much we made this man a president. What more does he want us to do for him to prove to him that we were good people to him? If he turn around today and he sees us as his enemy, number one, that is his problem. But we have shown him love and we have given him a position that he would have never gotten from anywhere except from us. We rallied behind him. We did everything. If today he became a president, he has not been able to show or to give us that gratitude or to say at least thank you for that. But now he sees us as the enemy. I think everybody should see who the real ingrain is in this. It's not the UDP, it is Barrow. We gave him everything. But let this be very clear. The UDP supported Barrow when we were part of coalition. We supported him when he was our coalition candidate. We voted for him and we supported him, his government. Until when he started his waywardness and then wanted to take a path that which we are unfamiliar with, we decided we are not taking that path. We are not trekking along on that path because as far as we are concerned, we have only seen one interest, and that is the interest of this country from the outset, from the day this party was formed. That's why the people who formed the party decided not to lead it themselves, but to choose a candidate who would be ideal for that position to take this country forward. Yes. So President Barrow should understand that we are not going to follow him blindly to any path that he wants to take this country to. And that is the path he had taken when he started this wastage of public resources and he started this self-perpetuating ambition of leading this country to God knows how many, competing Jawara and Jammeh. We are like, no. Gambia needs to compete with the future, not the past, and we are certainly not going to be part of that. And that's where the table started turning, and then we started moving different directions. He decided that he has an agenda, and only God knows what that agenda is, because he still hasn't been able to clearly state what that agenda is, apart from my agenda, my agenda. If you get them on your show, tell them to explain that, because the Gambian people, average Gambians, are struggling to understand what that agenda is. President Barrow keep talking about his agenda. This is the agenda the U.D.P has not supported. How did that agenda change from the agenda he had in 2016? Because I thought he must have had an agenda for the Gambia, that which was saleable to everyone, that which was attractive enough for us to support, and we did. And then when we got to where we are now, he is now coming up with another agenda that which we have no understanding of. And he is saying that we do not support that agenda. What is the change in the agenda? Because if the agenda was the agenda we went into the 2016 election with, I see no reason why that agenda somewhere down the line should be changed. It should remain, and it should have worked.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Facebook, YouTube, I'm going to hand your brother to you guys now. We will take few calls. So the number is, you can look on the screen. It's scrolling right there. If you are not in the in America, it's +1 678 390 0539. You ask your question. Don't stay long. We have kept him here for almost 2 hours. You ask what you want to ask, or a statement, throw it in. Let's get rolling, okay? Just few questions, okay? All right. Mr. Dabo, I'm going to hand you over to our community. Remember, respect. Everybody, our motto is respect. So if you are new here, you are welcome. But everything we do here is respect. All right. We have a caller on the line. Hello.
Hello, Binto.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yo, mbading todi mado.
Ndela Usman Kasama.
Usman. Alka moy la ba?
Yeah.
Alka Usman moy.
Ngamwen.
Okay. Usman butuwo Ibrahim tinna. Nga brother Dabo le sutu jam.
Yeah, mbeni yanks Dabo mbala program la mo kan na ba interested in yanks da ko kuma ko kendo la foji, you know.
Thank you.
Abaraga.
Mba konto mbala, you know.
Abaraga.
Nde ba adam baro dianko inte bol support la, inte bol jabi la, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, adam mi fa ka ko anata mo winu mo jaaje doni o bo fala. Adam mo fa to fa no la.
Okay.
Okay.
Para mo bora mo fi banko ko mi no fala.
Okay.
Atani telefon jura da mol bede bara ta mol fi te me to ko ta ite boro ta e banko dum fi banko ka. Me jara bodo je kula ko wala.
Usman ke.
Wala no ay ngi atlet dia mo be mten to ta man dia mo no am fen no ate mo ko ne maka fonya ala to be jara ka to be kam mansal.
Amam dia mo wato.
Nyatan ko men ka nyatan ke mo nyatan ko manje mo tele mo ka nyatan ko so kende la no nyatan ko na mi rek abango ba no problem ko.
Okay. Okay.
Lema nte also to sa jabi no jere mbe yang da mbal ko ton no.
Okay. Dabo be jinkanda ya. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Dabo. Brother Faladi Amtasai, what you get to say?
I kumo bedada back. I mean for wala mo kesoti.
Okay.
Alama mo min fa wada fala. Anung adam fo man amanya na yalon kumo dobije. Amanya na kawol fo. Nyadon ko buka kuma sifa fo ninda manganye nun tandung nyimbe fa. Fo italam alat. Ngamira da fo ko alala daga president. So mimu ko tanna flood wala nyindiko aya fo Gambia no le ko ate development o minke warabe development o minke la ngamira wala sindi toñin fanga tata to minna akumaya mi atene yake luwato wala nyindiko nem president nada mol minu be sate oto nyanta fala ne ila samado e batal min soto
hold on
yes batadal min soto sama kono president o ya fae ay wolong aya jibe abe mako ino la nyamin jannin next samakana comme ngamin ko agriculture and farming banira yake president fen campaign mandati ita be mol to fala butu wol man to dedicated to fo yalla wo man bere
Okay, thank you. Nga kola do soto. Nko number mo +1 net is 678-390-0539. Mr. Dabo nga kola do soto. Bismillah, Jamala.
Yo, assalamu alaikum kotanke. Binto.
Jamala, uncle.
Bari namu de sexering lam inimbara.
Inimbara. Nga Dabo la soto jambi. Yankuba Dabo, you are welcome. Ibriminten.
Kai wanjalanko Dabo jula sankaranka. Yang mbe nabaki.
Abaraka bage.
Mbal tentula mbal jaila. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Always ni la programo da tanka kontane. Mune kan kontane ndi. Because the way forward, Gambia, nyanta tala damento, nyanta futala damento. Alika jelel ma, dulame yalanka kumata. But follow mbela viwa sol beten tulambe kontonna because itolel kan programo kumayandi. And then mbela timo mol beten tulafana mbe jaila.
Thank you.
And mbete bindu tentula mbetwale sima ban jat kembea.
Thank you.
Alia point tantamma jos ndamra ndabe kachano la bari le point kilin pikla yenginin karol men ke honorable Yankuba Dabola
bismillah
wo kono je membe dending youth employment al kachata ngaje Yankuba adiamuta jela ay kuje mal bo nyoto mba atansla wala ba flya baraka yo mbe Yankuba nyinin kala menna nant lo benna wala muko ni youth employment yal me yalon ko jama tel ka bankol samba bankol men yirwata the modern countries let's say mulbe damante Europe America nin bla ko tamon ngajele let's say Gambia ko next year let's say 2000 youths men yalon go lelbe la school in banna so what do we have for them so me muna create lay so odoku bundal men nyanta create la fundum is U.D.P government have any plan me yalonko wo youth solu and it is in their calculation kaje ko ye statistic landi kaje ko wo youth sol men yalonko be la krambungul banna in next 2 years to come or in next 5 years to come or in next 10 years to come mbe mum plan ne landi la because o bumela be nyanta kala fenet me yalonko mansakunda sobe o nyaatum ka kendol nyanta kalandi ka long bankola problem munet animbe mbi la munela soma an nana o employment kilo nyin kono membe dending economic la because ni aje be youthful employer pour bankola economic la fane wuli bankola fanko e wuli ay yirwa bankola fanko be yirwa la no nyaadi le na atrako ntol fañolu wala bariŋolu wala mbañolu men be nakol doku kan men be farol to men be kunkol to okay itol ka doku kele bari ikaye jama e ka doku ke men kam madoron mbatum be mano landi la tabilo kan nyame nkana fo mano la but ibuke mira fanan ko mbatum be mano nyi wafila nyame isaje ko nsi kodo sotono ko jama ni rata ni santol men ka manol doku individually ibe ka doku men kamma pour balwe soto suwakon so is there any plan me yalon ko U.D.P man sakunda soto kaje ko o musolu nyi ibe makole nyamen instead of ya landi tabilo damma kam pour ka do mo bari isa export no ya wonder to another countries so is there any empowerment or is there anything me yalon ko U.D.P man sakunda ya landi o labela ferol kono o munna nyininkari foloti and then nafla njango mbedan na jeleto wala be dending let me see wala be dending ni mechola aliye men kacha biko banko bukata no wol kom ndeme be diamu kanten jani mbe bola Gambia ngame cho karanne atina naburo rasul ka funyel jack of all trade master of none so membe dending kan I have been up to GTTI mbita kan wato men nan ka jara le because ngalon ko na safero fang man senaya sako nka nsifer read no but with the guardian of one of our best friend of mine me yalon ko wolente karandi electricity la so I nimmo bole ndara fonga place soto no GTTI but ni na rajibe alio gunda men kachao mecho la karola ntolu bring mamol la wato la me ko kare kata me karangol la ete ila karamo bukale ko kile kungol to drong you have to obey everything and definitely there is no protection ni be me karangola ni barama ne fangol be jaar le faye and motet la lori kuma memba tan dile la fananko you are doing well because ni keta kapintati mo furngolti ni keta fitati mo furngolti ni keta welda manoti ita man kuma society ko so fol mu mela be e sensitization nyanda kala la ban programme le nyanda sut la ban kamol awayandi anin na bala karola me yalla wala mun na fanka soti our resource nde na selin kele na bado ko kele fana bari nka system o menje Gambia banko kan Gambia dam malaso so luntangol men be Gambia banko le c'est the Senegalese, the Chinese and the Europeans men ben na balu kono okay itolu ila banko lu kan e ka fishing style mel londi je kaje ko nyewe muta men fanam be nyewo muta la ye nafa soto je men kata nyewo muta ani men yalon ko wala banko dingol te nafa soto nyewo nyim fanan munel nyanta kake
thank you
because for is there any research men yalon ko wala nyanta lola ni ko nyinto ban kaji be nyesi fajuma nyu le ben na balu kono ani nyewol men ben na balu kono fo woldum ntolu nyanta material jumanyo le nyina ka youth soul empower because bi ne Gambia youth soul men yalon ko abetita ba kono de bari molbe pare men yalon ko lafata la ba kono kata de mo bari ye empower yatandi la ko ni nyekari ngol le benna ba kono ni nyekari fana ye wato le soto men yalon ko kamuta but ni nata Gambia jibe is very sad today because ni nata banko ko tangol kam country like Mauritania because I've been there for 6 good years ikaje ko sisi no le be nyewol la nyewo nyebe je kono ye wato le sotala o nyewol nyanta mutala nyamen ba kono o nyewol dum ida is going to be octopus o abe kala kujalol ti bang o kala nyewo sifati toyo lembang mara lembang anyone marcel be lori ngamu mela be o nyewol kaje ko be export la nyame so ntolu fondo la mansakunda wala UDP mansakunda nanata fo ye any plan na soto bang ka research ken wala ka jibe nyejuma nyole benna bakon ani na nyewol fana nyante protect la nyaadile because nyewolu ka sisinol soto nyanta wulu la nyamem bakon o sisino men beje isaje wato dole ko ba sorongol be kering so ni e momon ni muta ile octopus de makan they are going to be a fine ya understand but wol mantaran tolla Gambia bago ka system mantal lorinje because I've ever heard of it so because wato la ka sota nyewol kata wulu so ni wato teni Chinese sol ni la jalobe ba kono e man wulu wato ni ma kumma yandi ma horoma nyewol banna ba kono so ibaje la fanan kon na bahti nyewol soto la fo dal UDP mansakunda any plan na soto ko la baraka ba baltentu la mbale jayla
thank you
yeah
okay abaraka Mr. Dabo.
Okay.
Mr. Dabo, you have 4 to 5 questions at one time. Hi.
I know it's a long question.
Yes.
Yeah. But ngamira a question labawning. Nyewon la Carola. Ngamira ngawo jabele nung in the pledge ning. Party leader la 7-point pledge ning. Coming back on can make sure na nyewlu ning ka fenko ke ngamira ba kono nyewlu minu bije nga for the Chinese troller soul ka nyewlu be sambaten woman better because molbe nyeko complain kan sare kono janne ko nyew bu ka sodono and bato talal ka mem fo wala min di Chinese are bu ka nyew sodono so what I ala woto ngamira nga woto jabile no but I kudo for me ala kumata bake I am so happy lolo woto wala mu funding kewlu ngamira nga scan fonu janne aussi fa make sure funding kewlu job ye create in the fishing industry mimba tinala fo funding kel so do ko so no woto and then isaje se I kept professional because yalong mimu problemoti in many of the sectors economic sectors we have in this country mang industrialization also. So everything is funkum business, and that is a big challenge. Tola capitalism system o mimbijang Capitalism might work in other places, but here it's a bit difficult. It's a lot of challenges. Many economies, the hybrid system of capitalism and bit of socialism and all these things helps a bit, and that helps government intervention. Well, Germany helped Kabiri from the Second World War. The government has to intervene and become the entrepreneur and lead in a lot of these things. So, but I believe UDP strategy for, especially with youth employment. Yalonga nga do fonu njango nintara barona la man sakunda sobe adano. Tendung e tractul men sorono tracto jurmon ni. Manyana tractul tala mol bulware falending falola ning order things so. Yanda tractul be sambalale to at least jahal pachar la ma fonla because nga fonun tubako donko ni tameda jara somale fo basse wojio nyimbe mu ji senangolti aman ko jio tije wojio nyi nia irrigate nse sama do la kaberen tilkandi sama do fantije sama fonla nante o batula kadoke by now nyanda tarla be rice fenke kam be rice do kam by now another rice production o bedare kan nimma harvesting ke nyanda tarla production o kan woto fananda manden bladol fanam bije nga horticultural garden ol fole in Kanila and other places mini alon ko by now nyanda tara tibab nyol fanan dola le by now nyanda tara fendol dola these are things mini alon ko setare do kan ne 20 sama tilikande bari ndol ka depend wol kan sama drone la ni sama nada because ala geodinna which is non saline ji sew abe larni nyeje mbuka utilize no voice very sad so with the increased investment of UDP for 10% of the national budget, a lot can happen. So, for example, already we have a brother in around that area called Maduro Farm. Me alongo abe mani doku walaje, but it doesn't have government support. Ninga government UDP government comes in, na mbulo du nyobulu because he's already have so many ideas. Abakane and he's doing well. And he's already had the business going. It's a matter of coming in for no. Governments can give subsidies to farmers in the West. Because subsidy le dila ya for need the mola in the market. Ninga okay no, we can give huge subsidy to Maduro. Ngaiko, you need to employ this number of youths in your farms, and then we also need you to produce this number of rice in the country. That is a company that we can help and empower a youthful employee, and we will have so many of them employed. Because if you're scared of government managing its own affairs, sometimes what if I'm a problem with Africa? Ning moluko manzakunda talendro mobe gavole manzakunda fengo aman necessary isa dolje ya mumetinya because amanke tare manzalta. But if you run it through a private, you can also achieve so much. But there is so many things mininyandagala. I mean fanamfo about mano kumada ko mano in the rural area wolka atabile ika dole purka domo, that is subsistence farming. But we can commercialize rice. Yaje min fon kana nyimbango kan ni aje rice production of an lota is because rice is not a commercial product here. Ndolu businessman on miluka rice fena nyimbango ka wolle fon be sirim manzakunda tongo kan bikala vi manzakunda e Gambian on encourage mano do. You understand? Because no mano do da wala mi tola business wala boyot. So, okay. So if because of the project called Run, and the UDP government now we have to fight for that because ninga mano ke commercial product. Ibajala yalong at the moment mingage molka samale do ye tiyo do priye tiyo nyu wafi no yela ndawolo sodo wodo ye mano do ika otabani lan ibe mingela mano kan and then yettiyo wafi pour ye karam do idingol la karam mongol jono aning tamu keno yaje bari ninga mano commercialize fanam ko nga seko londe mol ka mano wafi no dami yalo seko mano ka wafi dami wala man sodo banko ka mani kama ni a dotre ya ka bodo ko ya samba seko to ya wafi kodi karla man sakunda ka wo samol bula kana ka tuwa ka wafi wobe mani ko bonni la mol gam makali baaje la mol bo wakille be mano dola biko baaje le be kaso to no jele kam ko do so no jele bari because ni akoros nyimbangoga folo kasuo ika kasuo tra manjagol droneya mostly because wolle ka na fa no mbak yeah kasuo kuru yatra muslimol nen kasuo be kasu do lo mame bar kabrin kasuo data ka import kata China ka export kata India. Gambia, almost half of Gambians became cashew farmers because they started getting money from it. Ni rice fan and Gambian all started to make money from rice production. Nimbanko bebe kala rice producer alti. Bebe kala rice farmer alti. Nta man another government back kamale tala na kanai kawafi. And everything. So these are all ideas that we have in the UDP, and I believe the manifesto will. But another manifesto man thinking. But there are many other things we need to ngini bebe tara okono.
I bala kuofo min kata Chinese old. Ni UDP government nata 2021. Muna ning Chinese old wali contract ko sign mi alon ka mambang. Atoli amara UDP government be bondela no banko kan ke kon pour se banyin control no koma kanyu wulu o mem fote ni nyela wulu wato sita nyante respect la le wulu.
Nalo e contract ko je ni contract bambali wonena man soto anyway. But contract ko mimbi ka contract ko nyine check ika assess le. Ni contract ko tinya yalo ni atinya and the person ming na yementa tinya ke sule. So ekajibel nal data court likely fengoning compensation of calamity. I think compensation is going to be 300 million, but in the meantime, it'll banko baby staff later chalo shotla for the next 1 year. You have to be willing
to compensate.
Yeah, be willing na compensation of your contract or tinya danguela moli la liberty shot. So contract that one I don't think is the sticking point. The point will be looking at the best interest of the country. Nim banko chalo be and then mol buka nyaw no and they're starving. And then because of a contract me along tinya we are likely to pay 300 or 3 million.
I think we call a dollar soto. Hello? Hello, caller.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Bismillah, brother. Todi Madu?
I would love to don't tell
Okay. I can't about don't tell
I'm just following this program. It's very interesting because Youngs, I think, has spoken well.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
Me personally, I'm not a UDP supporter.
Okay.
Which is the beauty of democracy, I think.
Indeed.
But I really appreciate what Youngs have said throughout this program.
Okay.
Yeah, because whatever they do, whatever they say, has a direct impact on our lives as Gambians.
Okay.
Indeed.
I want to ask Youngs to explain I want to go back to what belonged to the past. When Dabo came out of prison, shouldn't he has been neutral and obeyed the oath that the coalition took before they formed themselves?
Okay.
That's one.
That's one.
But then miracle, like the situation we are living right now in Gambia. Dabo has a part that he has played. And today we are all paying the consequences.
Okay. Okay. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So you want him to reply? Okay, we're gonna hang you up. Then he will
Let
reply.
I think let him ask all the questions, then we can respond. Otherwise, we'll have a back and forth, and that will be nice.
In 3 years, he will take you to court. If he was like just quiet, by now at Amamboja.
We're waiting.
We're waiting. That is the question. We will answer the question, but we want you to finish the questions. Or you want us to get into the
okay. Then we're gonna
we don't want it to sound like we are in a back and forth. You know what I mean? We don't want it to sound like we are in a back and forth.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
His question is when Dabo came out, when Dabo came out, anyanta delal no neutral to see what's gonna happen.
And then I believe if he had done that, we would still say, why didn't Dabo say anything? Why shouldn't Dabo have said something? He's an elder of the nation and all lot of things. You can never satisfy either side. But what happened is, I don't think Dabo has done anything that was wrong. He came out, he was the leader of the party who went to prison. Obviously, he has to say something. At the time, even when he didn't say anything about the 3 years, people were saying, Dabo is behind the 3 years because he wants to take over from Barrow. He wants Barrow to go. That, in fact, contributed towards the conflict or the issues that we ended up having at some point. And in fact, Dabo had to come out in one of these press conferences to say that, in fact, anybody who wants to force Barrow to step down at the end of the 3 years, I myself would take the person to court. It happened in a press conference, and it was in response to a question raised by the media. But it's all up for them. You see, a lot of people need to understand one thing. It is Dabo never remote controlled Barrow. If he had done that, Barrow would not have been able to sack Dabo. You understand? Dabo was part of a government, and all he wanted was for that government to succeed. He had tried, God knows, and God be his witness, he had tried everything he could for Barrow to succeed. And he said in many times, if he succeeds, it's not just Barrow that succeeds, but the Gambia succeeds.
Okay.
But
do
you can
think do you think it was even necessary to have 3 years Jotna, which you were a part of? Do you think
it
was necessary?
It was necessary, and it is still necessary. In fact, it's even more necessary now than ever before, because we have to hold our leaders accountable. And I think the legacy we have left, we want others to pick it up and hold us, even us in government, accountable for whatever promises we make before we get into government. You see, you go to other countries, you have like Senegal, you have Yenamar, you have other people. I tell people that going to prison and other places is part and parcel of the
Hold on, caller.
If you have to be an activist, you have to accept that. Leaders will take you to prison. But it is not you who should be blamed. It is the leader who should be blamed, who is intolerant to people's dissent, who want to stifle dissent at all costs. The Yanamar people were even locked up in Zaire. You would wonder what the hell were they doing in Zaire. But they went there fighting for a cause because they believe in it. We had our late indomitable Solo Sanden died because he went out into the street to protest. Dabo and others were locked up in prison. Do we blame them? You don't blame them. You blame the leaders who are intolerant to people expressing their opinion. We have seen hundreds of thousands of Gambians who came out. I tell people the success of 3 years is not about removing Barrow. We were not a coup plotters. We made that clear on the 17th that we had no intention of overthrowing the government, but we had every interest in expressing the views of the Gambian people. And we were able to get hundreds of Gambians, of thousands of Gambians to come out in the streets. That was a success for us. The numbers matters to us a lot. And then on the 26th, even more came out. And they did that because they believed that it is time for Gambia to stand up to its leaders and hold them accountable to everything that they said. If the government set a bad precedent because of the clampdown they'd done on the 26th. Thereafter, have you had any big protests? Whereas on the 16th December, when we had a successful protest, in fact, remember, when we had a meeting with the ministers, the Minister of Interior told us this. He said, President Barrow even told him that he was called by other leaders around the world and congratulated him that he was able to have an opposition protest of the magnitude that we had on the 16th December. And it happened peacefully in the Gambia. They praised them and said Gambia is on the right path of democracy. But it reversed after the 26th. The same leaders went after him and said, what are you doing? You cannot allow your people to express their own opinion in the streets.
Okay, we have one more call. This will be our last call, then we will wrap up and we'll let you go.
Okay.
Caller, hello? Hello, caller?
Yes, assalamu alaikum, sister Inimbara. Yes, Inimbara, mbe konton na ba.
Brother,
mbe mo be konton na.
Todi Madu. Todi Madu.
Yeah, ntela mo Abubakar Jamela me.
Jamela, Jamme. Double
Domor lal nyakasil.
Akoy mo domor lal jamme ko ndako.
Domor lal.
Okay, ila question or sambana because I made him blue back, so yeah, we'll try to wrap him up.
Lafta meme for while I'm coming. I'm fanang na Gambia ya ila da wani bai ntata nyomile ntata badibu nadula jamal janung bo nyinga dula point janga ko fara kono doku ako mol nyanda ka faro dokule ye balu anda kana dambalu damala fanan na mano e finde banda to nyalo moti appointo nyinga kumayata bakle bari dulala bije mi alon ko molma understand minatina farol nyin mano buka sotona nyama nte kabirin be Gambian katam bama e faro kono len ka faro doku momante no far kono doku ba en kam min keno fango mbare musol buka keno hanen bama fango buka keno minon problem
nte doron neno ndega kajanda fa yusle
ye nyama kunango yaga mbo momate no
system mante no doku la bay kabirin yale itaman kunkunduke teke dan janal to malon tuba fara
nga kunkunduke la nga tuba fara ke nga pira silo kanke dabo fela be jela la ja
no problem kumol len na farota kumo
Okay.
I understand. Sasa dole bije ka fa kumu aka banko le muta na banko muta e ka mna kole be banko bala. I understand. That is the problem. Wakati nale manol ni e kanala fo e fenkatendi yaje ka mna mano be janitale. So ntena mira mol nyanta ka wo ko ni nyanta ka study le mine nyanta ka ko ni stop because banko dole bije mi alonko wolmu desert wol let comme in Libya ñol be ñami blad wol bije wolmu desert wol bari fengol ka falin jela mine keta nawle ya study le alon na mine nyanta ka ñi atinna fu fengoy falin ñindula mole baluno so atinna mol ka gadi mo keno hani desert wol kono I understand en tamata ndara fo Libya na dulal ñi jele so na jele blad wol bije le fengol ka falin damindo e ka fengol fi jele falin kati e balu I understand so Gambia na fara jamal bije wolam problem oti because hani nyomi jele la farol kono na jele jana fana atondi nta la fo sal kenye la farol kono fana na jel fana jele what is the problem I understand so namira malam fo dabo kunnan koli be ganyeno la barni ganyeta fana na hope so rela karo do mandre support kan mba citizen alliance le bor na hope so reto le to 2021
iba tol kala ambassador kana wori
mbesirali la ba
okay thank you
citizen
anum fanan ila dabo fanan ala diamo se diamo e de baya ta fanan nabe diamo ila president dabo nabe diamo la anamira kala kumol kenda kuma do jako ako ya jamel fisiata malon adama baro
hamba osambala na dawul bi wala be kala na last question not thank you your mind wala mba
o mala politique kumol namira wode
okay
anyanda ko mira la baxel
okay
barka
dabo koy mu dobar laal ti bay okay Mr. Dabo ntolla tundo to ifang botanan tundo min to ntol karonin kolu kawo GC fa kawo farolu ka faronyin tan kawo kojiola karonin kolu ka daba jangole tay ka balimbal create
balimbal
ha wala tinda karonin kolu jama tolla mano tutumano kanyinya akabetea so abo ideal fokan bawe fa no botana o ma fangolta ha
yes na I mean for kuma da back bari I by indirectly the other guy suggestion on info coming kamani do me vote akola suggestion on yin sembentuya bari aje mano fana mimu ko fana de yalo mansa kunda ning coming I for the U.D.P if you increase the funding into agriculture the other thing come more mako imena wolem seed sold yalo there are variety of rice seeds lebije abe man kilingo ndo la janyim mani kama kilingo nyin ndol ka depend wala ba ni dada dula dol do variety jamala bije mano do ni alon ko dul tariata le dolu ani wo GC fa isa ke no jela e baluno dolu isa fe no so we need to be able to get this variety of seeds for farmers who ke mako inu wala isa je say fang isa all dono waran agriculture side Gambia la agriculture department bijele for so many years expert o min dron bija about rice ni tade ni diamada mani ko la nin kudole yefe mo fem ite America bele longi sa be fo bari malo mune atina for so far because bari that the lack of funding explains most of it because ning funding mantere la je it demotivates people and then one of the major problem of the agriculture bare man la faham ro da mandeng ning banko la problemo ning seats or la variety ning ya bele master.
Right.
In fact, the university student, they know a lot because last time, Nadine Nindolbe Kafudega via Aliu, so he runs this Mungin farm. He's doing a lot there. And so last time I have a university student on a field trip there. And then they were talking about landing. They are like experts in the land fertilization on in Fenkoning. Sebaya Nimman Sakunda Bije Minka Molde Mateng, and then the Department of Agriculture coming Jawara Desi Benunyaming Katano Laldotek. Wobe farmers will mark well back in combating ying soil erosion, ying gamen for them. Wobe mark well back. I think Ning will find that will balon a variety of seeds for the member Betiala, the various land. So agriculture needs a proper revamping, it needs revitalization. No one thing and rejuvenation. No one thing the sector, because Jame Minkala sector J sector in a boita because Jame Fong la fanke farmer number 1 day.
Right.
At Fong after provide no for everybody. It wasn't working, it couldn't work. The Canning Life Farm could not feed the whole nation. And then Kabirata the Canning Life Farm at zero. Agriculture mi alonko, Canning Life Farm had almost made redundant. Or agriculture made two ending. But all the government will damning when it's not supposed to be there. And that's another problem we have. So the U.D.P. pledging of a 10% increment on agriculture expenditure, 10% of national budget being dedicated to agriculture alone, I think that will revamp the sector. It will create a lot of opportunity because farming is a big industry. And then it's a job creating industry lefanamu. Ning proper investment dadaji, a lot of people will have abe bankola unemployment ratio in labakele, abe economy fana improve lale, coming kenno for. And then abe food sustenance nyim fana makwela bakele. That is crucial and it is very important for the country. Right. So I believe level of la jambe kunankoe. The U.D.P. policies, we have lot. Ntola policy cannot compare with CA in any of these parties. we are ready to prove that to anybody. You can. And CA won't go ndola kumagon for neither blade. Kamimbe ndola ngambim for ngambandi min like tolga wolle for.
Brother, don't left a call, Kalanang. One more call. Malafi, this mbala nga close later, but one more call. Hello.
Yes, hello Binto. This is Motso.
Welcome. Roll over, brother. Da wala bi jambi. Da wala bi jam. Mahani kabul. Malafi kabula fa.
Yes, very young Scotland, you know.
Okay.
Abaraga.
Yeah, the program, you know, Namara Kumata Bagel and then Yankuba Buffalo Dal, congrats. He did very well, and I think, you know, he responded to every question, you know, that came through you and then the callers.
Thank you.
So this is U.D.P. And then a lot of policies outline, especially, you know, the youth side, you know, when U.D.P. come to power, some of the activities that pertaining to youth empowerment and youth development. So basically, these are some of the constraints Gambia the main face come. So once more, I'm appeal about a very program of metal. Buffalo, you know, if you want better Gambia, just vote for U.D.P.
Thank you so much, Modu. Thank you.
And then I think this is another big plus for Combo East. Very Binto quality, Binto Bandaba. And you have Combo East guy, Nemo Yankuba Daboti.
That's right. Yes. Big guy.
Win-win situation for Combo East.
It's a win-win situation. So wala nanga samana modu nkaya ko ntol fana grassroots mole mi nema jaga samana.
You're right.
And I'm from opportunity use you know, being the campaign manager for the district for U.D.P. Campaign of Kekane, Boma platform in GB Kang. If you are not a sympathizer or supporter or member, please come and join UDP, the right party for you.
Indeed.
Modi if I'm mentioning your kotage combo is it a moment UDP because left you clarify
I am the campaign manager for UDP in Combo East.
Combo East, yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
He's a young man. He's a very but I'm a platform
Dynamic.
so malafiga
jatole moduti jatole
jatolo moduti so you know
yaje
sirin combo isle
Binto
bika long
modu wala nan ko Binto yo ko kay we are confident because ngalon nga mo sort dynamic
also is I think this Congress, the party bottom, Puruka, this other important office create within the party, the media control mechanism unit. I think it's a big loss for UDP. And then Young Dabo have to be the deputy executive secretary in that office, whereby he is next Amadou Scattred Janneh. So Ngamira is a big plus for the party and a big achievement for the party. This is why UDP is expanding every day, and then Nsafoko UDP is more than a political party. It's a government in waiting.
In waiting, indeed. Indeed. Okay. Indeed.
Yes. That's it even make it easier. Kataka monitoring and stuff like that. So we just go directly to the media team.
Yeah.
So that's a big plus.
It is. It
so
is.
Let me not keep you long because program on I just once again can though the program was a bit late, but he endeavored to come to the platform and then have a discussion on you pertaining to many issues. So once again, young big thumb us, and then thank you very much.
Definitely.
Combo is alinyanta kukelan toliele naskan Gambia hainanje jionin trubado ben sambala up and down Kenyo ben kununa everywhere so ni UDP na dalbe bine kelan tolie so mbelefela le niye kachawa
as a party we have a lot for the Gambia
a lot
let them just entrust us they vote in UDP into power, then they will see the difference for themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dabo.
Yaje.
Nakoto Kebel calling K. Fanga call you. I'm sorry. Krubali. I have to call him.
MB.
Me bias like I'm so sorry.
No. Kurubali mun manana koroge. Let him come.
Me bias like Kotoke Krubali fele. Thank you, Modu. Krubali.
Binto.
Nko mba hoke ja nko me bias la kay ni.
Fo ni bias ko mfona ke kendo le bije yangs mu namo kende baleti.
Wallahi
I first of all want to congratulate Yanks for
thank you so much,
the executive. I think it's very well deserved. Momondi elamwe ila shola bi ajele ko membe UDP kuno. Ni mo sifalle bije ni le kilo ke Yanks be lorin damen ama momondi defila abe ala position ola.
Okay.
He's resilient. He represents the Gambia. He represents United Democratic Party. He's well spoken with respect. Laftani mo sifale la puria tarana banko la kol tamandika. And I am so happy that Youngs have decided to join the executive, especially important place member for media and in communication. And I just wanted to call and congratulate him. Aladiamo Betadavi Bake is about policies. This is what the future is about. It's not about rustling. It's not about Kanyo Malundi. It's about Memunekenola Gambia Dimulia, Memunekenola Gambia. So thank you so much. I just wanted to call short and congratulate Youngs and congratulate you too.
Thank you.
Your show is doing very well, quality show. And you all have a wonderful day.
Thank
Brother
you.
Youngs, congratulations and
thank you.
Well done.
great interview today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Mbatu janiba jinkana. The reason why nga English portion okay italicized nga kurubali sotono njane so nga kenu just mandinkalet.
Yes,
and
okay.
he did so well.
Yes.
Kolondo fankaso nga wale savara so mfana menekta city la ngasi pro so I will look smart. Nga for no more but nge appreciate le. You can come in and we'll give you the final question nga nebula.
Okay. You can go on the final question, then I can.
Mr. Kurubali, thank you all. Modu fanan sambala nanjana ning campaign sita. I promise we will do that on behalf of U.D.P. Nko international Facebook na family Binto Bantaba community international. Yeah, sometimes sister book affair, sister book affair, but no problem. But anyway, in all in all seriousness nga kachaku marimbal kejang kotoke kachaku marimbal you understand tol we are tired, we should be tired and we should nyanta batalale to be sick and tired of kanyo siso muta kadendi ko sabanyoe itele nyimfo itele nyinke. We have to go ahead nga Gambia la ko kacha mina benyeje mina binala nyeje in future because this is about, it's not just about us but for our children, our grandchildren.
It is.
Kanyo sabajang hada yankuba dabo imanyi mfenka no na platform or we just nka dole kele nka question or dole clarify just like we did but when you sabo wenten to londo nka londo le nyini nyim platform otaja. So it's your duty as a guest. Ita be mine convince la no pour yela party join.
Yeah.
Na bota je ka nkabe ka hormone mbunyade. So na last question is. Ite mine for dabola kanyen statement of ka foko jamme wale fisiata te fe baroti. But nkana yalo na manika ka ate meseyata. Mbatu ngafo angale kama amange koma manika kama moede but ninkomba ako baro is worse than jamme.
Yeah, I believe in terms of the economic management of the country.
Okay.
Yeah, yalo mol buka they don't contextualize the statement only. But I believe it is in with regards to the economic, his management and his management of the economy, because Ngamara, he went further to say that Barrow has squandered or embezzled more in the last 3 years or so than Jammeh had done in the last 22 years. And that is not only Dabo who made that statement. I think Amadou Scattred also made such a statement to that effect. But many, I believe, ko Gambian or Jama Fango believe there are certain things Barrow be minuke kan o Barrow minge within these 2-3 years. We do not believe that Jammeh Fango will keno in the last 22 years. Because I could mean D. Yaje be olona wato mena ye. I remember APRC ni model be diam gan council olam. APRC la council dara nung kerjarga ward la council award contest la just recent one onye. Ila council mimbe jambar kabirina. Itol fongo e bulo lay dato ikoy nyaaye kodo min ne ñunuka kodo min di itol fongo nena ma woje during Jammeh's tenure in government. So we will fongo jakale wo kodo nyimbe ka bana nyama ka spend nyami. But you see, the Adam Barrow needs to know one thing. If you want it all, you lose it all.
Okay.
And that is it's a hard fact. He wants it all and he wants to spend everything to retain power. And in doing so, he is committing some of the worst economic crimes against the Gambian state because he is wasting, looting, embezzling Gambian funds. And then the moment he loses, then comes the accountability because the people will then know where all that money had come from. And that is where he is going to lose everything. And he needs to be very careful about that. Be very careful that tomorrow will come and then anticipate the fact that you might lose. Because only Allah can decide who will win. And if you lose, how are you going to be how are you going to account for everything that you have done or you have taken to the Gambians? You need to be very, very careful about it. So this wastage of money as if it is all yours and everything, it has serious dire consequences that he needs to be made aware of. People around him are not telling me,
so ite mina mirala nyin toto nyin meets people store nyin to membe kere in 30 days
30 days amunda it all they you see they are not confident and they're desperate. They believe they eco mbadunga nimino be compete la nge cheat before the date. So if we are able to do it before them, maybe we will be able to cover some grounds before them. If we come back, we would have a bit of an advantage because campaign period hasn't been open yet. That is supposed to be, I believe they said from the 9th of November to the 2nd of December. That's when it is scheduled for. So if you start campaigning in December, you only want to cheat the contest. So he's not confident enough to wait for that period because he could have gone on a tour. This is supposed to be a tour, Meet the Farmers Tour. That's what they used to call it. You go around the country, you listen to the concerns and the complaints and the challenges of the citizens. It is to afford a sitting president the opportunity to hear directly from his own citizens their concerns and their challenges of the last 12 months. If you're able to gauge that, it helps you in your budgetary and policy. But they do their budgeting before they even do the tour. But the tour was supposed to be done before the budgeting, so that you can then be able to know that agriculture seriously needs funding. This other thing needs funding. That's the only way you are able to gauge and understand that. But if you're not doing that, you politicize it and you do it somewhere after you already submit your appropriation bill for the following year, then how are you going to be cater and allocate the concerns of your people in your budget? This is what is not happening. And he is just trying to politicize it with the hope that he can be able to cheat the contest that is not yet even commenced. But it's not going to work. And he needs to understand that. And then Ilanyan Tone in 30 days. Can you imagine? Every one of the security officers that are in there, they're being paid of per diems and they're getting about, I think they cap them, they limit their benefits to about 21,000 or something. But you can count how many of them are there. If they're all going to be paid 21,000, but the fuel that they're going to spend on their vehicles and the food they're eating and all the other things, it's going to cost the state a lot of money. And we do not have the luxury of spending that much money in this global recession, because we have a global recession that is as a result of a global pandemic that is happening as a result of COVID-19.
Yes.
So we need to be talking about austerity. We need to be talking about tighten our belt, tighten our expenditure, and then be able to give little money to support people in dire straits at the moment. But they're not doing that. What they're doing is spend. Come somewhere April, May, June, July, August, so many families will really struggle in this country. And that's when he will lose votes. That's when people will not vote for him because of the hardships that they're going to go through before the end of the year. So I want all make that as a last point to Gambians. I want everybody to understand one thing, and that is this: the United Democratic Party will work flat out to overcome the many challenges of this country, and our people are energized. They are ready. They've been waiting to relish in that opportunity for over 20-something years. If you give them the opportunity, Gambia, and we ask that one opportunity for us to prove ourselves to every one of them, those who see us as tribal party, those who see us as a religious party, and all other parties, whatever the depiction is, we want them to give us that opportunity for us to prove to them that we are indeed about Gambia, and it is the interest of the Gambia that matters much to us. That is what made Dabo to make all the sacrifices that he had done. That is the reason why Solo Sandeng made the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that this party of his party to be able to get to power. We have not been there yet. We were almost going to be there in 2016, but we are not there, and we suddenly need to be there.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
UDP, why did they choose you as their, why did they elect you for the media, deputy administrative secretary, media and communication?
I don't know. Maybe I talk too much.
No, it's not about talking too much. The reason I'm asking this question is when, I don't want to say everything, but when I was contacted, it was a few minutes before I went live. And doctor said, Yankuba is going to cover for me. And you text me and said that you are on a radio interview. After the radio interview, you are here with me almost 3 hours. What I will just say to other parties, hey, Alala Palaso di Mola min qualified to
They
can, somebody that can do it.
Yeah.
Brother Yankuba was not even in the picture.
I was in another interview.
He was in another interview.
With the radio.
Well, you need to come on. You need to come on. I was just waiting. You need to come on.
That's right.
And he is here. That's all I can say. If you're going to give any party, if you want to give a position to anybody, make sure they are ready and they are qualified for it, they can do it. So that's all I will say as my appreciation to you, Mr. Dabo and UDP.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much indeed. You were right. I was in an interview. I was scheduled for 4 till 6 at that interview in a local station at Brikama here. Right. I was there and I saw the text from doctor and he said, you have to be on this program. I have something, I cannot make it. And it's starting at 6 o'clock. I said, hold on here. I am in this one, but maybe give me 30 minutes thereafter. I'll be in that program. And that was it.
Oh my God. We appreciate you. We would like to bring you back.
Indeed. Anytime I am available.
Yes, they are texting. Don't forget to tell him. People are texting. Don't forget to tell him that we will need him back. I mean, we really thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
The time you gave us.
Thank you.
It meant a lot to us right now. What you taught us today is amazing.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing. You have done a great job for the UDP.
Thank you.
That's all I can say.
Thank you so much.
But we'll come for you.
Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll come for you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Dabo.
Thank you.
Wow. He's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Nko mbana nyumfa mandika kawala. Nko ni momo ya miss. You have to start over to see where we start. You have to. Nko nalba la palaso di la molla. Aladi molla mini alonko. They will be available. They will defend your policy. Ibatara patiye, they will defend your party. That's all I can say. I'm just saying. The brother was in an interview and he get a text. He have to cover for Dr. Janneh. Immediately, he said, well, let me take another 30 minutes. I was just waiting. That's why we were late. But he did a wonderful job. Yes, that's all we can tell him. And I thank y'all. If you haven't heard the conversation, please start over. Start over the video. Share, please. Share. We take Sundays out for you, for us, to learn something. Yes. All the details. We have done UDP in local language with Mr. Krubali, if you guys can remember 2 weeks ago. Today we had lawyer Yankuba Dabo on behalf of Dr. Janneh. Wow. We appreciate y'all. UDP, yes, yellow in the house. We have amazing callers. And yes. Yes. He wasn't prepared. among who plan, but we don't plan them. So Al Palaso di Mola Mini Alonko, they are qualified. All right? So he did a good job. Momo nothing in platform motor, you are qualified. You are qualified. Okay? And Minamin Fananoma, you everybody is qualified. Nde da malaman qualified. Okay? I'm the only one that's not qualified. Okay? I'm just lucky to be here. Moda Ann is our class prefect. All right? But we appreciate y'all. We really do. It's a long conversation, but we only do it once a week. Nkaka dimasi killing. So also all the time ta nko nyo sabo mantol sija. Nyo confrontation o mantol sija. Ndol baka police do cook interrogation. Ntolu jamu bantabalji. Mbuka straight answer nyininka ntolu ka kachalet. Straight question. Itondi. No, we do conversation. This is a bantaba. So it's different with the other mediums. Okay? So, wow. Allah baraka. U.D.P. Aliya dala sitilade. Aliya dala sitilade. Aliya dala sitilade. Fali neta aliya tunka. Nko, alaman niyo sila watola. Alaman niyo sila watola. Every Sunday mbekal nala jambe mol sambala aliya nan janne. Next Sunday mu holiday leti. Next Sunday holiday leti. Hopefully ni mang guest plan, but it's an open line for nankeno, you know. So thank you all. Allah respect bete am feedback. Yes. No. Ndamal is a Gambia sambano. Ndamal we can take Gambia forward together. We cannot just sit there and try to punch each other and try to hold each other's neck. It's not going to take us forward. Ni yankuba dabo min kachajang education, agriculture, nga kuja mala kachajang, infrastructure. Please, Alin share. I'm giving a shout out over there on YouTube. Mini biji Alin subscribe. Okay? Yes. Alimbe jalo sa muna thank you. Lamin, thank you. Fati, ala baraka, alama alen nalijo. Alin kana fasinyo bul ngadomang. Ngadomang. Ha, alanga londo nyini. Ne aje sometime political ka kole yambulu mal londo le soto. Ni mal londo soto, what can you do? Itani yeme ngome mwedo reke bunta wala kon. So alimbe mobe nimbaral. I love y'all. Call us all. You guys are amazing. Alia calls on me. Allah question all there. Just thank you, Mr. Soul. U.D.P. la campaign manager Combo District. Mr. Soul, Modu Soul. Thank you for calling. Nkotova Kotoke Krubali. Thank you for calling. Thank you. Nga mobe appreciate le. Na uncle fana yo call kena njay. Allah baraka. I will see you next Sunday. Alaman niyo sila wato. Atolo mini betama dula. Aluko deportation o nga diam. The last time nga deportation o diam le man time le soto. But we'll keep talking about it. Ntenyina lala. Never. Okay? Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. We will never forget about deportation. Thank you.